There we go. Thanks mostly to Ono. That front half of the ship is kind of taken care of.
So yeah, I mean, so you guys have I mean, you've
and the middle is kind of taken care of now too.
So yeah, you've got. I mean, Ono and Katarina have largely taken out the bowmen that were on the forecastle. Arendar, you and Poe were sort of trying to move the bombs off of the main deck of the ship directly over the stage area. You've got you've chucked one, you're getting ready to chuck another. There's three more sort of stacked up over there by the bar. Poe, Titus, you've got Nira. I believe you fascinated her and then tied her up. And then the last thing you did was basically extract a bunch of all of her treasure from her. So you took her weapons, a couple pouches of potions, and a variety of things, all of which is now sort of sitting on the deck next to you inside that room. And that's about it. I mean, so a couple of things happened, I think, in the last time we played. So there's some people that have been sort of coming up the stairs and asking what's going on, largely because Arendar threw one of those bombs about 40 feet away from the boat, and when and just a few seconds after it hit the water, it went off. And you can see even now off the edge of the boat, you can see that there is some sort of alchemical fire on the surface of the water that's burning. It went off, and it shook the boat when it went off.
I invented depth charges.
There you go. Yeah, now submarines are in trouble. It's any U-boats in the area are going to be running. But people are noticing that something's wrong. And a couple of people have sort of made their way halfway up the stairs, and Titus, I believe, basically said, "Get your ass back down there." Yeah, hang on. We've got this covered. Stay downstairs. But as you guys learned last time, you were just trying to figure out, what to do. You've got the thing's going to go off in 17 rounds, and Poe basically ascertained. He did a thing called what was it? It was like object discussion.
He talked to magic items or something.
Yeah, he talks to objects, and he talks to that object, and basically it's a massive teleportation device, and it's keyed to teleport itself and the boat and everybody on it to the elemental plane of fire in 17 rounds. So you guys have 17 rounds to figure out how to stop that from happening. You do know that 17 rounds is a little over a minute and a half. The likelihood of being able to get a bunch of people from the hold up the stairs and off the boat and to minimum safe distance is unlikely.
It isn't going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen. You can't. There's no way to evacuate them in the traditional manner. The thing itself is is like the size of a desk, festooned with various crystals and that kind of stuff. And there is a smoke creature of some sort that seems to be working the controls. Poe, and it spoke to Poe, and it basically said, "Look, this was never meant for you guys. You need to get off this boat, swim out at least 50 feet, or else you're going to get taken with us. You got to get out of here now. Otherwise, you're going to die." And the voice was Giorgio. Giorgio was the halfling. I think he was a halfling who came to you guys and gave you guys the tickets to the theater in the first place. So this whole sort of this was never meant for you guys. I mean, this is the guy that gave you the tickets for tonight. So
yeah,
he may not be telling the complete truth in its unadulterated form. But basically he said, "Poe, get you and your men get off this boat and get away. Otherwise you're going to die." And then that Nira is some sort of hobbit. It's been a long day.
Halfling.
Hobbit assassin, which with a short sword that had some sort of blue liquid on it, which Titus probably identified as likely to be poison. So she tried to attack you guys. So who knows what things are, but she's neutralized, at least for now. And even if Titus stops fascinating her, I think she's on the first round of fascination, legacy fascination, right? So that Titus can do this and then it lasts for 2 rounds after he stops concentrating on it. And he's used some of that time to basically tie her up and remove all her weapons and poisons and stuff, which are sort of on the ground. Ono and Katerina, in the meantime, have been busting the 2 archers that were sort of working Overwatch, that were elves, except for they weren't elves. They were disguised. Somebody had cast sort of like basic illusion spells on them that made them look, at least from a distance, like elves. But they were humans.
Burnt out elves are for.
Well, there's a boat, and there's the other thing. There's a boat tied to this boat, a longboat, an elvish longboat that has the bodies of 3 burnt. They're definitely burnt up elves in it, just lying there. And they were, when you guys came out, it was that was already tied up against the boat.
So there was elves that were supposed to be here. They impersonated them, got some magic to make them look like that. Killed them, obviously burnt them up, so then they could come on board without looking suspicious or looking like they shouldn't be here.
Possible. It's possible.
We're gonna run with that.
So that's where you guys are now at the start of round 8. So just so you guys know, Titus, you found 5 potion bottles on Nira, a bandolier with 4 non-magical daggers, a magical short sword that had this bluish viscous fluid on it that you suspect to be poison, a roll-up filled with sort of very finely crafted tools of some sort you don't immediately recognize, and her armor is magical as well, but you didn't have, I mean, she's tied up so you couldn't take it off of her. The rest of the stuff you like removed from her person and set down on the floor on the bulkhead of the boat.
Okay, wait, I didn't take off her armor before I tied her up. That doesn't sound right.
Nope, you tied her up first. Always remember, pillage, then burn.
Right.
I live by those words.
Usually,
unless my GM says otherwise.
But so that's the situation you find yourselves in. You're in a bit of a pickle. This thing's gonna blow.
Ray's like a round away from being able to climb up the side of the boat, right?
Correct.
So you might want to put his stuff on here somewhere.
Where did I end up?
You were coming in a boat with, at the time it was Vondrum. And I know you were really close.
Are you with Vondrum in that boat?
I wasn't here, so that's really your decision.
Yeah, he wasn't here, so we were basically just saying that he was with her.
Okay, so Vondrum, all right, so we're gonna say you were with her. Vondrum's boat, with Bill at the helm complaining about his wife Stacy, is Wraith, you are essentially, it is pulled up next to, it hasn't pulled up next to the platform, it is pulled up next to the anchor chain.
Okay.
Because Vondrum essentially last time was talking about coming up the anchor chain for reasons that I'm not 100% sure of. There's an actual platform about here that sort of leads down to sort of steps that lead down to the water. But right now you're near the anchor chain.
Okay. So do I need to roll initiative to get into the
You do? Yeah, let's do that.
20.05.
Excellent. Right to the top of the list.
0.01.
What's that?
Yep.
You beat me by 0.01. You suck.
No, I'm just better than you. We've known that since birth.
Hold on. You beat me Sorry.
It's allowed.
Because I think
Okay.
at this point, we've just determined that I was born first by like 0.01 minutes.
0.01 seconds. Canon now. All right. All right. So that's the situation you guys find yourselves in. Any questions or comments or calls for my dismissal? Desires to play some different game that's not this anymore. Before we get started. Ono does not know about the elemental plane device. He's up on the deck with Katarina, and Katarina doesn't know either. You guys have been up on the forecastle fighting the bowmen.
I was going to say, Arendar knows about it because Poe yelled out to him. So
Arendar knows. Titus probably knows too.
And as far as what Wraith knows, coming out with Vondram,
He knows virtually nothing other than you can see.
Yeah, well, I could
fighting taking place.
Yeah, I could see that stuff went south, and at one point there was an explosion.
In the water.
Okay, 2 explosions.
Not just one so far. Arendar, you have that second barrel in your hand.
Oh yeah,
Poe's just giving it to you. You're getting ready to do the second explosion.
Okay, so so I know that something has kicked off out here, and there was an explosion. So
yeah, you could see as you were approaching, you could see pretty clearly Ono and Katarina fighting some elf up on the top deck. As you passed by, you could see Arendar, your brother, on the main deck. He's got some sort of like misshapen barrel in his hand.
And I'm getting ready to shot put it is what you're seeing.
yeah, okay. That's good enough at this point for what he would do, at least initially.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, questions, comments? Should we just jump right in?
Might as well.
All right. Well, it is round 8, and it is Wraith's turn. So you're at the bottom of that chain. You could climb that chain as a move action with a climb check.
Do you mean to be showing us this text?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look away. You're giving us the
Yeah, you've got the module up.
you got the module up, dude.
That's
I
odd.
I took a picture of that.
I wish I would have thought that. I was
So-
trying to avert my eyes.
So what you're all saying is that your screenshotting skills are slower than mine as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, how's that? That
At
better?
any rate, so I'm going to attempt to go up the anchor chain
Gotcha. Give me a climb check.
to get to whatever part of the ship that is. So 21.
Okay.
So does that get you up to
21.
the forecastle?
Yeah, you get up to the forecastle as a move action. You still have a standard action, but that gets you up on the thing. And oh no, you see Vondram sort of come over the side, and Wraith, you would see Katarina and Ono basically fighting this. Well, now he doesn't look so much like an elf. He looks sort of like a human. You initially thought that he looked like an elf from afar.
Okay, so that was my move action.
Yep.
So I assume that I would have had to have my bow sort of on my back or some such to be able to do that.
To use both hands, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw my bow.
Okay.
And then at that point, I don't have the action left to fire an arrow, correct?
Nope.
Correct.
So I'm going to yell to, I guess, Ono. Like, you guys can't even go into a play without getting into trouble.
Ono sees Wraith. Yes, you would see Wraith come over the side. You do not see Vondram. So and you hear Wraith say, "You guys can't even go to a play without getting in trouble. What gives?" All right, so that's it for Wraith. Arendar, what do you do? You have a bomb in your hand, and it's got that bulgy sort of triggering mechanism on the inside.
So I'm going to try and put it in the same place as the other one since I don't want to add to the area that's burning. I'm just going to, make the area that's burning burn more.
Okay, gotcha. All right, give me a strength roll as you shot put this thing. 17. Yeah, no problem. You're quite strong and you managed to chuck it and it lands pretty close to where the other one landed. And again, this time it doesn't even sink a little bit. As soon as it hits the surface, you think it landed directly on that pressure plate, that trigger, and it just goes ba-boom. And it is a huge, you can hear, Titus, you can hear people down in the hold starting to scream. There's a big sort of water spout and wave that splashes by. And there's a much larger circle of alchemical fire that sort of like has spread out quite a bit, and a lot of little pockets of alchemical fire that have sort of scattered out. None that are super close to you guys, not within 20 feet or so, but it's a much bigger area right now.
Okay, so that was my attack action, so to speak, or my standard action.
Correct.
I am going to relay a quick summary of what Poe had told me to basically Titus, Wraith, and Ono and Katarina.
Yeah, well, keep in mind that Odo and Katarina and Wraith are above you on the top deck. They can still hear you. Yeah,
but it's open. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you tell them?
I'm going to say there's a device trying to transport this boat that we need to get rid of quickly, and it's in the back of the boat. And I'm going to head that direction.
Okay.
I'm going to tell Titus, yell down to get any of the magic user people, the Lyceum people, up here like now.
And I holler back, will do. Do I need this creature alive? But if not, I'm going to slit her throat.
Hello.
I'd like to have information, but I don't want her getting away.
Well, you got her tied up pretty tight. She's
Okay.
essentially helpless.
Okay. If she's tied up, just leave her there because I want information.
Okay.
But if she's not completely tied up, then yeah, she's still a threat. So, but yeah, we need magic.
Okay. I'll shout down when it's my turn.
So then 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm basically getting 2 inside this room to see what's going on.
Okay, so when you get to the doorway of that room, essentially what you see is the first thing you notice is the desk, for lack of a better term, but it's definitely not a desk. And so it's basically a large box made of some sort of wood, but on the top of it are various things that look like they might be controls of some sort, crystals, and various kinds of like touch pads and things like that, and most of them are glowing and vibrating. So the box itself is you can feel as you walk in the door that the box itself is radiating a fair amount of heat, and it's vibrating, it's shaking in front of the box, and every once in a while you can see sort of like reaching out over the top of the box, touching this and that, is what looks at first to be some sort of smoke cloud, and what but it does seem to be roughly humanoid in shape. But as far as that goes, it's you can see what looks to be like little tendrils of smoke will sometimes reach out over the top of the box, touch things, and you can see the box reacting to it.
Yeah, I think Poe said there was someone in here messing or doing something, didn't he? He told us.
Said it was Giorgio.
Oh, Giorgio, yeah. So okay.
He said it was Giorgio's voice that he heard coming out of the smoke.
Okay. Going to get in there, I yell, Wraith, I need you.
All right. All right, sounds good. All right, Katarina. She's got a short sword. She's going to try and stick this guy one last time. If you guys recall from last time we played, I don't think she ever hit him once in her rolls.
She hasn't hit anybody ever since.
She hasn't hit anybody.
It was all Ono.
Here it comes. This is it. I think this is the one. She's good. Katarina may get a verm on this one. Wow! Let's confirm that, baby. And it's sadly an unconfirmed hit, but she does get explosion dice. So she gets him with the thing. Let me add the exploding dice here. Let's see how many hit points. Oh, 11 hit points. She got the explode. Oh no, you see her just bury this short sword in her. That is a verm, an NPC verm. Do I have to take credit for that?
I don't think there's precedent for that. So,
well, who controls that NPC?
I guess I get a verm on this thing.
Okay.
All right, so we only 7 more left. So Katarina, oh no, Katarina, you see her rear back. You've just punched this guy. I think you stunned him. The yellow circle, I think he is stunned because you got stunning fist on him last time. And she just runs him through, and pulls it out, and he just sort of thing. One of the, you see him sort of standing there, sort of, he looks like a marionette with all his strings cut, and he just drops to the deck. One of the things that you notice as he drops to the deck, or after he drops to the deck, is that he's definitely not an elf. When he falls to the deck, he just looks like a human sellsword. Give me a quick, and Wraith too, give me a quick perception check. Ooh, nice. That's a good one.
That's a beauty, eh?
Let me find out.
That's a beauty perception.
Well, and just coming into this, Wraith might have noticed that when he was first coming up over, he thought it was an elf. But by the time he got to the deck where he is now, he was close enough that he could see it wasn't.
You can see it wasn't an elf. He still had some like elvish features, but it was like sort of a melange kind of thing. Now he looks completely human. Both of you look at this guy and you realize that his armor and his sword and his clothes appear to be new. I mean, the sword looks brand new. The armor looks freshly made. His clothes have that that sort of like brand new look to him. I mean, you guys know what brand new clothes look like. The colors are good, that kind of thing.
Except for the blood stains, but other than
and the holes. Yeah, but I mean, his clothes look brand new, as do his weapons and armor, which is odd.
From that,
Immediately went and bought a bunch of stuff.
Oh no, it's your turn. Now you have heard Arendar yelling to you guys something about we have to get this thing off the ship or we're all going to die. It sounded like Arendar was panicking.
okay. Do I espy on the forecastle or the stern castle or the main deck any other foes?
You do not see any other foes at all.
All right, then I think I'm going to run downstairs and see what the rumpus is. So the stairs are here.
Well, so that's the stairs that go below deck. So this part and this part are essentially the same thing. This map that you're on right here is essentially the tops of the castles. So the stairs that lead to the main deck, which is where Arendar is, and Titus is, are these fellas right here. They're just a set of steps going down into this area.
I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then what do I?
And then you're right here at 4.
Yeah, the stairs are easy. Yeah, you can just go down there. There's no cost.
Okay. What do I see there now?
Well, you see Titus.
Yeah.
So the first thing is probably that you'll see is there are some heads poking up, and you can hear a fair amount of harumphing from downstairs. Obviously, the play has been stopped. There are some faces peering up those circle stairways, and there's a fair amount of discussion down in the hold, because now 2 explosions have gone off in the water nearby, and they're a bit concerned.
I see. Do I see Titus?
You do. He's standing right there in the doorway.
My, what a handsome gentleman.
Titus, you
Hello,
are
Titus.
a very handsome gentleman.
Why, thank you. Oh, no.
And
Titus is bringing sexy back.
do I see Arendar?
Yeah, he is standing in the doorway at the opposite end, and beyond it, you can see some sort of smoke. There's some sort of like humming noise or vibration coming out of that room.
Okay.
And about the time you got to where you're at, you probably heard him call back to Wraith. Hey, Wraith, I need you. We need to kill something. So,
Okay. Do Titus or Arendar look like they are engaged in combat?
Neither. Titus is standing next to a Hobbit woman who's wrapped in ropes and tied up. The Hobbit woman's eyes seem to be a bit unfocused. She's staring at Titus with a strange sort of intensity. Arendar's not fighting anything.
Yeah, Arendar is in a fighting stance, though.
Okay.
He's not actively fighting anything, but he's got his weapon out, and you fought alongside him enough to know that he's
Okay.
ready to fight.
Then I'm gonna proceed south to meet up with Arendar. I think I have 4 steps left. 1, 2, 3, and I gotta go around here. I guess 4. And okay,
Yep.
so I've now moved 8 squares.
Okay.
That's one
If you-
movement for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, who's this here?
That is
He
not
disappeared.
Tilgen. It's
That's
Lorelei.
Yeah, she
Lorelei.
disappeared
All right.
whenever I voted.
Yeah,
And are
Lorelei's
these
gone.
dead guys?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a little like elvish made John boat sort of tied up
Okay.
to the side of the ship,
Mhm.
and it's tied up on the opposite side. So the place where you guys boarded the ship is on the other side, is on the
Left
port
side.
side. That's the left side, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask a Navy man. Am I?
Yeah,
Is that
left is port.
Yes, port is left and starboard is right.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's on the port side of the ship, and it's basically like a set of wooden steps that basically are hung from the gunwales, and kind of like it's a place where sort of boats will pull up, the people will disembark, they'll go up the steps, and they end up on the main deck right by this bar. This boat is on the other side of the ship, and it's sort of tied with a rope to the gunwale. Essentially, it's not supposed to be there, but yeah, it's an elvish made John boat of sorts that has 3 bodies in it that have been badly burnt, and but despite the burns, you can recognize that these are elves in the boat, dead elves.
I see. Okay. I have one more action left. I don't want to just rush in there and crowd Arendar and get in his way, especially if
Oh,
he's
you're
going to
fine,
be
you're fine.
stabbing something. Do I see if there's room in there for me?
It's a relatively small stateroom. You can't tell how big, how realistically big it is, but there's probably room for you.
I remember you get past them, yeah.
I'll go 1, 2, and can I go here?
Yeah, you're standing next to his bed. Okay, so now you're standing in front of Arendar.
Yeah,
wait,
that's fine.
Can I jump on the bed?
Sure.
Ah. I'm ready to jump off the bed and clobber
That's
whoever
right
comes
here.
near. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, there. Ah, I didn't even see that. All right, great. I'm gonna stand there. Wait, now, hold on. Who's this guy?
Well, so you don't see a guy. What you see is why is it not
I'm gonna say free
showing?
action.
Oh, it is showing. Okay.
Yeah, free
so you
action.
don't see-
That smoke guy is the little Hobbit dude, and he needs to be stopped.
Yeah, basically, you don't see a guy. You see a vaguely humanoid, shadowy cluster of smoke.
Okay, a cluster of smoke.
Yeah, you don't see a guy.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm gonna be. Can I go into what's the word? Set rep, not set rep. Combat
Rage?
ready. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could. Oh, you're a monk, not a barbarian. Sorry.
Rage.
Yeah, you can prepare for combat. I mean, you can't do anything this round because you just
Right,
you took more than one move. But yeah, but you can get in there.
You know, just a weird note and aside, both Ono and Storm Lightfoot, neither wears armor and both have the same AC.
There you go. Interesting
all.
fun fact.
Um,
Storm,
okay.
by the way, is Eric's character in the 5e game, and he just recently had a cave named after him.
Nice.
It was great.
All right, it was great.
It was great.
Nira is still fascinated by Titus, and she's staring at him with attitude. Although Titus, you can feel that the magical energies that you use to fascinate her are beginning to wear off, and you can see her begin to sort of like come back from her fascination. But it is your turn if you want to do something incredibly ugly to her.
Well,
Like
first thing I'm
slippery.
gonna do is shout down the stairs. Any magic users come up immediately.
Okay.
And then can I use an action or do I have to use a whole turn to concentrate again to get her
You
re-fascinated?
have it would you can move, but to get her fascinated again, you would have to you'd have to cast a spell.
I thought it was just a matter of concentration.
Yeah, but you stopped the spell.
It
You
was until you
stopped doing
stopped
it.
and then it goes away.
Yeah. And
okay.
it's just because of your I think you have a feat that does it. Anyway, it takes a while for the effect to dissipate even after you stop concentrating on it, but you can't just restart it up again.
Gotcha.
You have to recast it.
Okay, well, I will gather up her things that I took.
Yeah,
And I will head over to the stateroom.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you're just gonna leave her sort of standing there in this room.
Well, I'll I guess recertify that I've tied her up nice and tight.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. As far as you can tell, I mean, yeah.
Okay. And I've taken her weapons and poison, so yeah. Why is this not moving? Do I have control of my?
You should.
I can't get it to do anything. Oh, there we go.
Well, I moved it. See if you can move it now.
I cannot. I can't even.
Are you on
select it.
the arrow thing at the top?
What's that?
Sometimes I've done where I went to the dice roller to the draw something. You got to be at the arrow.
I'm at the arrow.
Okay.
I've selected select move.
Okay.
I can't even select Titus.
You can't get at him, huh?
Yes, neither can I, but that's by design.
Let me check your character. Hold on a second.
Yeah, as soon as your arrow goes over, it should turn into like the four
Yeah, it's not.
arrows.
All right. I'm gonna say it can be edited and controlled by all characters. So let's do that. Oh.
Great. Now Mike can move.
Yeah,
Now he can move you. All right, try now.
I still
Nope.
can't do it.
Nope.
Really?
Oh wait, now I can.
Oh, so Mike can do it, but I can't. That's
Okay,
bullshit.
try it again.
We do refresh your browser maybe.
All right, I'll try refreshing.
Or are you looking at the Zoom window?
I'm not that stupid, Les.
Mine was
Was
just
try
showed
to
the regular mouse arrow until I tried to move him once, and then I could move him, and then now it flips to the
that's the
four
crosshair
arrows.
thing.
Yeah, crosshair thing.
I can't move it.
I had to try and move it once without that showing.
Okay, where do you want him? I'll move him while you
I guess I'll stand behind Arendar and oh no.
Okay, so you want to move down to here. Like there?
Yep.
Okay, so you can see in there as well, and you recognize that this guy, I mean, you can't see the guy, but you recognize that this is a magical cloak of darkness or something like that of smoke that this guy is using to hide his appearance. So I mean, that's basically
Doesn't help against magic missile.
That's true. All right, so Titus, you've gathered up Nira's material and then rushed across over behind the bar next to the dead barman next to the room where you guys can all see this happening.
Right.
All right.
And I did make sure to rally any magic users.
Right. You yelled down.
So they should be rushing up right now.
They're rushing up.
Like right behind me.
They will arrive next round.
No. Now.
Well, they're not. Well, it's not like, I guess they are magic users, but they can't do that kind of magic. All right, so it's his turn. Okay, hold on a second.
I need to know if he does a manipulate action. I will take an attack of opportunity if he does a manipulate action.
a manipulate action?
Basically, it's just any kind of action that would provoke an attack of opportunity.
Can you do that?
And that's kind of, it doesn't spell it out in first edition as well as second, but that's kind of up to you to determine if it's.
I'll allow it. All right.
If he's
So
doing something that would take his attention away from watching us, that's usually what provokes.
okay. Here's what he's going to do. He turns around and he says to Ono and Aaron, he says to all of you essentially, you fools, I told you to get off this boat. Get off the boat. Titus, did you successfully move your character?
I just did.
Yes. You were looking at the Zoom window, weren't you?
No, I had to switch browsers because once in a while, Roll20 complains that it doesn't like Chrome.
Okay. You see the so Arendar, from your point of view, he's going to do something that provokes. You see like one of the smoke arms kind of go and sort of point. It's not pointing directly at you. It's not pointing directly at Ono, but it's pointing out the door. Titus, is that where you're standing? Or are you over more?
I'm over more. I'm trying to be the wimp that I am. I'm not a fighter. I'm kind of like
So you're standing sort of behind Arendar kind of thing.
Behind Arendar and Ono, often just kind of peering through the door. I know better than to throw myself into a situation. Okay. No, I accidentally moved myself when I switched browsers.
Gotcha. Okay. The smoke creature, Giorgio, we'll just say Giorgio. Giorgio fires a firebolt at the kegs. So I have to see if he hits it.
Well, isn't there like a cabinet or something or a bar in the way?
There's a bar. He's basically shooting it at the bar. It's definitely he's trying to hit the kegs or set off the kegs, but he's shooting a firebolt. You're right. They're out of sight, but he knows where they are because he put them
right. Right.
All right.
It's almost like
Firebolt.
So if he's casting a spell, then he can do it defensively to avoid the attack of opportunity.
Yes, but he would have to do a concentration check. But if Firebolt is a first level spell, so yeah, you know what? He may do that.
Because if not, both Ono and Arendar are within range.
Let me check his. Okay, yeah. So it's, remind me again, what is the concentration is for casting a spell under like that?
So it's, I believe it's your caster level plus your stat, and you're trying to beat a DC of.
I'm almost there.
15 plus like twice the spell level.
You make a concentration check. Roll d20, add your caster level and your ability score modifier to determine. Then the DC table. Where is that concentration checks? Where is that table? Where is that? Sorry.
Actually, get your roll figured out, and I'll figure out what the DC is.
My roll is going to be. Wow. Okay. It's going to be D20 plus 12.
So he's got a really good chance of getting this, I think.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, so he's got a 3 and 4 chance of getting it. He's got to get a 17, or you got to get better than 17.
Okay. Okay, 17 or better. So, and he's got
12,
it's 8
so.
plus, he's plus 12. So let me roll that. Let's just make sure that he doesn't provoke. Who is that?
Not me.
That's me. I'm just enjoying the game.
All right, here we go. 22. Yeah, so he made it.
So no attack of opportunity.
No attack of opportunity. Yeah, that firebolt, and let me just go ahead and roll that as well. So his ranged attack bonus is +8. So boom. Yeah, he hits. So he hits the inside of that bar. There are bottles and glassware in there, and you can see that the inside of the bar, it shatters a couple of different bottles, and starts to be, starts to have a conflagration. But the bar now is on fire. So hold on, let me get some fire off of my thing here. All right, there we go. So the inside of the bar is catching on fire from the firebolt. So that's his first action. The second action is going to be a 5-foot step back here against the bulkhead away from the thing. And he says to you guys, get off the boat now. This boat is going to be destroyed. You need to get off now. I don't want to hurt you, but but you have to get off the boat now. Otherwise you're going to die here. I'm leaving. And the boom clock goes to 16. Round 9. Wraith is up. Wraith?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I missed part of that. So what's the fire here?
So he shot. So from inside the room, the smoke guy got up from the desk, shot a firebolt spell into the inside of the bar. So that wooden thing there is a bar that's set up on the
Okay.
deck. It's
Gotcha.
got glassware and bottles and stuff inside it. And he shot a firebolt in the general direction of the bombs.
But he missed it.
Well, he didn't miss them. Is that the bar's in the way? Those barrels are only about the size of a small keg, and they're in front of the bar. But what he's
Okay.
apparently trying to do is set those off. If those things go off, Arendar, you know that if those things go off, those 3, they'll go off all 3 at once, and it'll probably go through that wood into the area below. It'll
deck.
catch the entire main deck on fire.
Okay, so these are three small kegs.
Yeah, about the size of like
A
maybe like a pony barrel. Yeah.
Okay, so and then there's fire on the bar, but it hasn't reached those.
No.
Okay.
But if
so
he hits that bar a couple
5,
more times,
10,
it'll get through.
hang on, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm gonna grab this first barrel.
Okay.
And I'm gonna roll it off the deck.
You can't.
Off to oh, that's right. You can't.
If I see you running over there, I'll say, watch out the bulges. That'll set it off.
So these kegs have they look like normal barrels,
Okay.
small kegs, but they have weird bulges on each side. There's some sort of, and what Arendar will say is there's a triggering mechanism inside the keg that these bulges have been made to accommodate. These barrels were made special, and what Arendar will probably tell you is like they're full of alchemical fire and some sort of concussive device, because the ones that you saw go off in the water that Arendar threw out there
No.
basically blew up and spread alchemical fire everywhere.
Okay, so is he yelling this to me as I'm running over?
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna run to here instead. That's a single movement, and I have my bow already, and I have sight of him.
Of the shadow guy?
Yeah, I can see this is what I'm saying. Now, the specifics of shadow guy, whatever, I can see this, and that seems
Right.
to be the bad guy.
Well,
So
yeah,
now-
what you see is essentially like this weird humanoid shaped smoke. And it is speaking. You can hear it saying, get off this boat. You guys gotta get off of here.
All right, so now going back to the Thanksgiving Day text that you and I shared, I would like my artifact bow now.
Okay.
You said wish granted, so give it to me. No, I'm kidding. So
There's
from-
DMs lie.
from here, since I have clear sight, I'm gonna take a shot at him.
Okay.
24.
Okay, a 24 to hit would hit. However, with this spell, he's essentially it essentially gives you a no target penalty. So you got to go 50-50 on it because he's essentially, you don't see the guy, you see sort of this smoky outline. So you got a 50-50 shot. You call it in high or low.
Hang on a second, sorry.
The suspense is killing me.
Women, was it a mistake or did he do it to us on fucking purpose? Okay, so I'm gonna do, I guess, a D100, and I'm gonna go high.
Okay. 88, that's a hit. All right, you did hit him. And
So
this
it means I
damage,
hit him for 6 points of damage, and
Okay.
he is within 30 feet of me.
yes.
So, and he's just been talking. So I don't know the answer to this. Does sneak attack damage apply?
In this case, no, there's no flank or anything like that. He's engaged with other members of your party. You hit him, but yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to get sneak attack on him.
Okay, in that case, it is 6 points of damage.
I have removed it. And Arendar, oh no, well, I guess probably Wraith, you would hear it too. You hear him go, "Oh, geez, don't, would you stop doing that? You guys got to get seriously, you guys got to get off this boat. I am leaving. You need to leave too. This boat is going to be destroyed in just in a minute, maybe less." Arendar, what do you do in response to this? As you see an arrow come flying through, and now the smoke has like an arrow sticking out of it.
Yeah,
Well-
I'm used to arrows flying right over my head.
Well, I was gonna say, I heard a scream that said, "I need you, we need to kill something." So I
So
came
he-
down, sent an arrow, caused his hair to flip up on the side because it went through right beside my brother's head and
Yes,
stuck into
Yeah.
this thing. I
So-
figure we're good.
yes.
This is how the half elven brothers do their shit.
This is how we work.
So go in there and cut it to little pieces now.
Okay, Arendar is gonna look really torn right now. He wants to kill this guy, but he also, that fire doesn't look, does it look like it's gonna go out easy?
Speeding on liquor bottles right now. And it's magical fire. It's starting to catch the wood on fire.
Okay. It's gonna turn to Ono, say, Ono, kill this thing quickly.
Okay.
And I'm running out here, grabbing him and getting over to my shot put spot.
All
Can
right, so
you
you
bring a barrel
you're
with me?
grab another barrel and throw it out. Can do. And you can chuck it at this point.
Okay, so
So do you do that?
yeah, shot put it out
All
where
right.
the other ones were.
Being careful of the bulge. You
Right.
see Arendar runs out of there, and you see him grab one of those barrels and shot put it out there, and it flips end over end and hits, sort of skids across the flaming water, and then kaboom, another huge explosion comes up.
Okay. And I'll yell at Titus. If you can put this out, great. If not, kill that thing in there quickly.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know that I can put it out, but I can certainly try to kill that thing. Do I know what it is?
It's not quite your turn, but so are you talking about what is on fire in the bar? What caused that?
No, I basically said to him, if you can put the fire out, great. If not, kill that smoke creature in there.
Right, Dad.
And I,
Good night. All right, Katarina comes down and she sees Arendar sort of grab that barrel, and you see her begin to grab one as well. And Arendar, you
don't do it. Don't touch the bulges.
and she looks over and she's like, okay, that's the first time I've gotten that advice.
First time he's given that advice.
All right, but it is Ono's turn now.
Okay. I have been looking at my character, and just in case this creature in front of me needs to be hit with a magic item. I have a key strike.
Okay.
Key strike allows unarmed attacks to be treated as magic weapons for the purpose of overcoming damage reduction. I don't know if
Gotcha.
that means I'm able to hit or not, but
Well, I mean, there's an arrow sticking out of the smoke. So, and you saw that. I mean, you look back and you see Wraith sort of like, aha. So it can be hit. And Wraith, I don't think those arrows are magical, are they? I mean, your bow is, I guess. Is your bow magical?
No.
No.
Right.
All right. So, he can be hit by mundane weapons.
yes, sir. I declare stunning fist, and
Okay.
I'm gonna do my crane style strike,
Got it.
and I'm gonna go. Here we go. I roll a 23.
23 is a hit. Now, well, let me rephrase. It might be a hit, but you get a no
50-50.
target penalty because of it. So you got to do 50-50. Call it before you roll it.
I will go low,
Okay.
and I'll roll just a d6. I roll a 3.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. That hit. So you feel your hand penetrates into the smoke, and you don't. At first, you're like, I'm punching smoke, but then you feel something more unyielding behind the smoke, and you realize it feels just like a hobbit's face. And
A hobbit's face.
A hobbit's face. So you smack into it. You got it, and you do 6 points of damage. And he is stunned for a round, right?
Who among us has never wanted to stun a hobbit?
Just say that's pretty much every day. Nicely
Okay,
done.
Good. Can I hit him again?
Sure.
Okay, I declare stunning fist again.
You cannot.
You can't do it twice in one round.
Oh, really? Darn it.
No, you
Then
max out at once per round.
I declare just a fist.
A regular
and
strike.
Here we go. I roll a 15.
15 will not hit him.
No, but he does have a -2 on AC. And he
And
loses
then
his
I have to
dex.
check.
He loses his
Ooh,
dex.
-2 and loses his dex.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Shit, that hits then. Because his
Also,
AC, normal
he
his ACC
drops
is 16.
everything.
Okay. So he's stunned. I'm trying to think of what he would
Also, did the halfling drop something?
he will. Hold on a second. So you hit him again. So 10 max damage, 10 points of damage.
Yes, sir.
Holy crap. Not only did you hit a hobbit, you practically killed him.
Well, he's got it coming.
All right. So you could feel, or the rest of you can feel and sort of see the smoke sort of staggers backwards. And you can hear the thump of a body hitting the bulkhead next to that magical desk. So yeah, you just pounded this guy. At first, nothing seems to hit the floor, and then a small sort of figurine that you don't immediately recognize clatters across the floor outside of the smoke.
Can I see it, please?
Sure. You would do a quick perception check.
Yes, sir. Perception.
14. It looks like a small coiled whip or rope,
Okay.
but in the shape of it's a figurine. It's not an actual whip or a coil of rope. It's small, maybe the size. It could easily fit in the palm of your hand. But it looks like a coil of rope or a whip, something like that.
I don't think I have any more actions this turn.
No.
I don't think you do either.
You can call out though, so someone else can do it.
I get. Hey, he dropped something. It's a coil figure thingy. He's stunned.
He's stunned.
He dropped something. I need backup.
He needs to get back up. All right, Nira has come out of her fascination, and she is going to try an escape artist check, I believe. Hold on a second. She's going to try and escape those ropes. Escape artist dex check. Okay, here we go. Her escape artist is So what I need Titus. I need you to roll a dexterity roll. And it's basically, this is a contested dexterity roll. Your dexterity roll, or you can choose strength, whichever one you want. Or if you have any rope skill, you can use that to determine how strong of the knots and everything that you have her tied up. She's going to do a dexterity check with her dexterity bonus to see if she can get out. If she beats you, she will be able to emerge from the ropes next round. If you beat her, then she's still tied up.
Okay.
Okay.
So my options are dexterity or rope skills
Or strength.
or strength.
Dex is gonna be your best one, probably.
Probably. Let me.
And I'll roll for her.
Okay.
I don't think she's getting out. Oh, I got to take off exploding dex. She had exploding dex checks.
Exploding dex checks.
It's supposed to be rolling.
13. Yeah, no problem. She is still bound. All right, Titus, it's your turn. But as you begin to do whatever it is, you hear some voices over by the stairs, including Simeon, the one dwarf, and that paladin woman, Laura Beck, that you guys met at the Lyceum Council. They're all standing around, and Simeon is like, Titus, there's what is the matter? What can we do? Why is the bar on fire? What's going on here?
So I tell him as much as I can. I've got an assassin tied up over there. Somebody needs to keep an eye on her. She's trying to escape, and she's a slippery one. We've got a steam guy who Ono says feels like a hobbit when he punches it.
Hobbit, you say?
Or a halfling. We've got exploding kegs over there that you have to watch the bulge. Don't touch the bulge. And the bar is on fire because whoever that shadowy guy is casting spells to try to ignite those barrels, which will sink the boat if they
It's all up.
explode.
So you vaguely, as you look over at Simeon, you basically hear him sort of mouth, "Holy shit!" And the dwarf is like, "Well, we've got to get the people out from downstairs. If this ship's going to blow, we have to get them off the ship."
Well, we also have to defeat this magical desk, which is
Yeah, the magical
alleged to whisk us away to a fire plane.
Okay. Simeon's like, gotcha. He goes to the dwarf and Laura Beck and he says, "Get downstairs. See if you can get the people off the boat. Do you have your axe?" He says to the dwarf, and the dwarf's like, "Of course I have my axe. I don't go anywhere without it." He's like, "All right, well, I don't think you can get people out in time. So chop a hole in the side of the bulkhead if you can do it, and see if you can get people out that way. Get them out as quickly as possible, though, as fast as you can. Laura Beck, make sure that they behave orderly and do right." Simeon then moves forward towards the barrels. He's like, "Oh, these are alchemical bombs. I've seen these before." And he says, "Titus, what would you have me do? How can I help?"
Get rid of the barrels, or if you can, or help us subdue the assassin or the smoke person.
I'll take care of the
Whatever you're
basket.
good at.
I'll take care of the barrels. And he steps forward. He doesn't touch the barrels, but you see him beginning to do some sort of magical spell, which we'll finish next time. Now it's your regular turn, Titus. What do you do with that? Oh,
So
these
first of all,
these two go back downstairs.
I glance around. I want to know what the little figurine is, and I want to know if I have any idea what the smoke hobbit is.
All right, the figurine, give me a quick knowledge arcana check.
Okay.
What'd you roll?
I can't tell. It's in dark mode.
19.
19.
19. Okay. Yeah, you sort of peer onto the floor by the smoke, and you do recognize this. This is a feather token. And it is one you recognize. It is in the shape of a whip. This token forms into a huge leather whip and wields itself against any opponent desired like a dancing weapon. It has a +10 base attack, does 1d6.1 +1, as a +1 enhancement bonus, and can make a free grapple attack. It can only last in about 1 hour before it reverts back to token form and can be used once per day.
Okay, grab that so he can't get that.
Well, of course I grab it.
All right. So you step into the room and grab it?
Yeah, I might as well.
Okay.
So I guess I will. Do I end up about there to get it? I don't know where it landed.
Yeah, a little closer, I guess, maybe to him. He just basically dropped it out of his hand. He had it in his hand and he dropped it.
Okay.
So yeah, a little closer, but you don't have to get too close.
How's that?
That's fine.
Okay. I pick it up.
All right.
And I'm sorry, what does it do?
So when you speak a command word, essentially, which you don't know right now, it turns into a huge leather flying whip that fights at your command. And it will fight for like an hour and can grapple people.
Okay, but it needs a command word. So basically
you need a command word. You need the time to be able to identify on it to suss that command word out of the ether so that you can use it.
Okay, so do I have any idea what the creature is?
It's the Hobbit.
Yeah, you're guessing it's that Hobbit Giorgio. I mean, he's using some sort of
invited us to. Yeah, he's the dude that invited us to the thing.
Gotcha.
He just tried to murder us and everybody else. So
okay,
still trying.
How many hit points does he look to have?
About halfway.
Halfway, jeez. Well, you know what? I am going to poke him with just kind of prick the skin with that blue goop on the short sword that I took.
You're gonna hit him with the poisoned short sword.
Wow.
Okay. Roll an attack roll.
Okay, let me see. I've got to look this up because I don't attack very often.
Okay. Oh no, you're a little shocked. You see Titus is holding a short sword with a blue viscous fluid on the blade, which he steps up, grabs the whip, and then stabs into the smoke.
I see nothing.
My guess is your bonus is either a 2 or a 3.
It's a 2, thank you.
All right. So
I think it's a
D20 +2 against a stunned guy. And I'll tell you right now, his effective armor class right now is 12. What'd you roll?
17.
Shit. All right. Hold on. Now I got to check something. All right. Yeah. You feel, no target penalty. Yeah. You got to do high or low.
So roll a percentile and choose high or low before you roll it.
All right. So what do I roll? 100 side?
Actually, roll whatever die you want. Just choose high or low before you roll it.
Jesus. I guess I'll go high. Let me
do. The roll damage. And I probably have to make a fortitude save.
So short sword is D6, and you've got no bonus, I'm sure. So just D6.
Okay. You think I have no bonus?
You don't have a strength bonus.
Stunned.
No, you don't have a strength bonus to like do extra.
You don't have a strength bonus to.
No. Well,
so just
my strength is my charm.
That's true.
Which doesn't
you
make it hit harder.
Can't really charm a sword into a guy harder.
5
points. That's pretty good. All right. So then I have to make a friggin' fortitude save because it is actually poison that you just slashed into this dude. All right. So let me, sir.
That was hilarious.
What his fort save is.
That was awesome.
No. All right. Here we go. Son of a.
He blew it.
No.
All right. So you hear, even despite his stunning, you hear him groan, oh, And you begin to see some of the smoke begin to sort of dissipate. And Titus, oh no, you guys get flashes of the Hobbit underneath. He's holding the wound, and you could see, blood, sort of coming out, in flashes and flickers, as he's losing his concentration abilities to keep the spell going. Nice, Titus. You just poisoned a guy. I hope you're happy.
That's awesome.
I am happy. I'm
all right,
very
it's
happy.
It's his turn. Okay. He's going. He's going to do that.
Well, can I say anything before it's his turn?
Sure. You got. You want to lay some smack?
Hey, you want the antidote? Tell us how to stop all this.
I'll be fine, he says.
I'll be fine.
I'm just going to walk it off like Coach used to tell me to do. So you hear him mumbling spells. Titus, he's casting a spell. So both you and Ono will get attacks of opportunity in this case, because he's not going to be able to. Oh, fuck. He is still stunned.
This is a stun round.
This is his stun round. Well, he's not going to do jack shit, is he?
And if he's just a second, if he's stunned, he can't concentrate.
Yep. That is also true.
So if the concealment spell that he's using is a concentration spell, it's gone.
It is. So now you see him sort of backed up against the wall. He's got one hand on it, and his eyes are kind of like spinning around. You can see not only blood, but that blue sort of oil on his hands as he presses against his abdomen where the sword went in. You can see not only does blood coming out, but like that blue liquid is in there, and you can see where it touches the blood. You can see that it's changing the blood into sort of a black color.
Great, I've turned him into an orc.
All right, it is round 10. You've got this thing on the run. The boom clock has gone down to 15. 1 minute, 30 seconds. What next, Wraith?
I think you should be playing Mission Impossible music right now.
Now I can see this person, and he's within 30 feet of me.
Yep.
And he's stunned, which means I have sneak attack or precision damage.
Yep.
So I'm going to fire 2 arrows.
Okay.
10 and 21. And the 10 would actually be 14 because he's stunned.
14 will miss.
Okay, so and then the 21 hits.
21 will hit.
So 7 points of damage plus 6 points of sneak attack plus 2 bleed.
All right, so total of 14, and 2 of that is bleed. That arrow takes him in the throat. And you can see that it has largely severed. You see him sort of spin around. Titus, the arrow has severed the carotid artery, or the Hobbit artery, as they call it in Hobbits. And has sort of like lodged into his vertebra in his neck. And you can see that there's some arterial spray. And Titus, you may actually get some on you, but a lot of it is going onto the desk. And you can see, Titus, what you notice is that when that arterial spray gets onto the desk, it sizzles as if you had thrown water into a frying pan. It sizzles and smokes. And he's dead. Because that's the kind of thing that Wraith does.
And as a free action, I'm going to call out to my brother, who has now inexplicably run off to the side of the boat. Okay, he's dead. Now fix it.
I did my part.
You said we needed to kill the guy. I did that.
All right. Arendar, your turn.
Okay. So do I know that this guy's messing with the...
Yeah, he'll if you approach him, he'll turn to you and say, "I got this. Take care of the other thing."
Okay. So I'm gonna come into here.
Okay.
Let's say that desk is what's going to transport this boat out of here really soon. We need to get that out of here. And actually, this is where I wanted the mages for.
Okay.
Would I know?
You only know what Poe told you.
All I
Is
know is
that-
it's supposed to transport the boat away.
Yep.
And it's gonna have
Essentially,
to
what Poe
be-
told you is that thing in a minute and a half is going to transport this entire boat from this harbor to the elemental plane of fire.
So, do I know that this is the back wall of the boat? Am I
Yes.
at least that? Okay. I'm gonna turn around, yell at Katarina, get that dwarf back up here with the axe. I need to get this desk out of here now or we're all dead.
You got it.
And I'll yell at the mage too, if you've got a way to open the back of this boat up so I can get this thing out of here.
I might. Let me get rid of these bombs first.
Okay, and I'm gonna come over and look to see, is it secured to the floor? Is it just heavy?
It's just heavy. Well, right now, what it is very hot. I mean, as you get close to it, I mean, you don't have to get very close. Everybody in that room can feel just royals of heat coming off of this thing. To touch, the guy's blood got on it and it sizzled away. So you
Okay.
know that it's at least stove hot. It's starting to scorch the edges of the wood around it, at the edges of on the bulkheads of the boat.
Okay,
I'm
I'm gonna call
sorry,
back to the mage that's messing with this thing. I said, can you teleport?
you mean the decks, right?
What did I say?
Bulkheads are walls, decks are floors.
Well, it's scorching the walls and the floors.
Okay.
Wherever it's touching. I'm gonna call
So
back to the mage. Can you
Simeon will say to you, we can't use teleport because of the burning sky effect. Anybody who uses teleport or dimension door, it essentially immolates themselves. It's
Oh.
regional.
Yeah, that's bad, actually. Not a genius here, but I know that's bad.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good thing.
That's not great.
Okay, I need the back of this boat open.
He looks at you curiously, and he's like, "Let me think for a moment while I get rid of these. I might be able to do it, but
And
Titus might be able to do it. It depends on
Katarina is leaving to go get the dwarf that they just sent back downstairs.
she's running downstairs. Yeah,
And I'll tell her she's running, because if we can get this thing out of here, we don't have to evacuate the boat.
got it. She's running away towards the stairs. You can hear the sounds. You can also hear the sounds of chopping downstairs. So they are trying to take out the bulkhead.
Yes.
I'm gonna start, while I'm waiting for people to get back,
Mhm.
I'm planning on heaving this thing out. So I'm gonna start trying to grab anything that I can put over my hands or
Okay.
just any more protection. So as I grab this thing,
I mean, there's sheets and blankets on the bed that Ono
And
was
there's
standing
a
on.
dead hobbit.
And there's a
Do we-
dead hobbit.
Wait,
dead
do
hobbit.
we still, do we still
basically
have,
like glove, just kind of, wrapping stuff around. So when I grab this thing, I know it's still gonna burn me, but I'm just trying to minimize.
do we
Okay.
still have any of that lotion that we were given to get
Oh,
through the
good
fire
question.
forest?
We do, but I
From
bet
the
it's
fire
back-
forest? No, that's long gone.
I was gonna say, if we did, I bet it's back at the hotel.
It's probably true. You probably wouldn't have brought it. Yeah.
'Cause
So like
we
I said, I'm
have-
just trying to grab anything as a barrier so I can still grab this, but
The hobbit.
a few extra
Use
seconds.
the hobbit to push the desk.
I don't think we're gonna get him to do anything right now.
I know he's dead, so you just use him as a battering ram.
Or a puppet.
Or a puppet. Okay, we need some strings and I start tying him to his arms and head.
Oh, a hand puppet. He's just the right size for a big
Oh.
fella like yourself.
Ew.
Okay, that's all I did. I just barked some orders and came in here to start
Okay.
For things to do.
Katarina disappears down the steps, and Wraith, you can hear her sort of like, "Hey, they need you upstairs." Blah, blah, blah. You can hear the voices downstairs. There's a lot of people downstairs talking right now, and they seem you could feel in the boat. The boat is pretty it's pretty stationary in the harbor, but you can feel like people moving around down there, and there's a lot of people moving around. But she's downstairs. She's getting that dwarf back upstairs. Ona, what do you do?
Okay. Arendar is moving this bomb out of the boat.
Not yet. Right now I'm kind of preparing to touch
Okay.
Well,
it.
this isn't a bomb. This is a teleportation device
Right.
that's going to teleport the entire boat to the elemental plane of fire. Is the plan?
Well, got it. That's effectively a bomb. Okay. Maybe I don't know. Okay. Arendar, can I help you? If is this thing heavy or is it just
Yes,
hot?
it's heavy.
It's heavy and hot,
It's heavy
Right.
and hot. All right.
sort of like me.
Oh, God.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our heavy and hot DM.
Basically, I'll tell you, if you're going to help me push it out of here, then you might want to find stuff to cover your hands with.
All right, great.
Yeah, your hands are your livelihood.
Are there any rags around or anything I can use as a hot pad?
There's the sheets and blankets on the bed that you're standing next to. Those could be ripped into strips or
Say,
pieces.
And
You could do that.
Okay, hold on. Is there by chance, is there a dead hobbit nearby?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there's one right there.
Great. Is the dead hobbit wearing clothes?
He is.
All right, great. I'm gonna rip the pants
Go ahead and
off
say
the
it out
dead
loud.
hobbit and use those pants to.
I can't write fast enough. Hold on a second. Gonna
I'm
rip
gonna
the pants.
rip the pants off the dead hobbit and use the pants to cover my hands. And I'm gonna help Arendar move this thing off the boat.
Okay.
Maybe we could drop this thing into this little burned up boat and push the little boat away.
Think
Well,
if we drop this heavy thing on that boat, it's going to go right through it into the water.
Not a bad thing, maybe.
It's possible. All right, so you're ripping the pants off a dead hobbit.
Yes.
That's a full round action, I think.
Find a rule book that said that.
I have to check, but I believe I saw that rule in the it's in the advanced pants rippers guide that Paizo put out a while back. All right, so Titus. So first of all, these two bombs disappear. After you could see Wraith, you had seen Simeon sort of delay that. You'd see Simeon sort of make a few passes, and they sort of like disappear. Simeon sort of sees you looking and goes, I sent them away.
Nicely
Send
done.
this desk away.
In your bed tonight.
Well, he doesn't care. So here's the thing. Even though he can't teleport himself without immolating himself, if you teleport an object and it catches on fire and it happens to be a bomb, it's blowing up in teleportation land, that kind of stuff. Basically he'll tell you he teleported it out to sea as far as it could.
Nice. Good work.
So it was far enough away where
Can you do the same thing with his desk?
Well, he's like, I possibly. So he'll run over there and begin peering in.
So somewhere far out to sea, there's a very confused and a very fucked shark. Shark swimming around going, I just need to find something to eat. Holy shit. But
what happened here? All right. So Titus, what do you do? So you can see Simeon's come up. He's like, the bombs are gone.
I'm going to make room for Simeon. I'm going to go back and check on my friend.
Nira?
Yep.
Do you say something like, hey, I stabbed a guy with that sword? That worked really well.
That works really well. Thanks.
What kind of poison is it? Is this the blue stuff that you had? Because I may use that.
It turned his
And,
blood black.
my alignment is changing as we speak, so I'll be fine. All right, so you go back over there. You can see that she is definitely struggling against her bonds, but in vain. She's still quite tied up.
Just sit on her or something.
Probably going to stab her in the throat with a poisoned short sword. I think
I
Titus
say-
has a whole new career path here.
I say coup de grace.
I'm gonna tell her, if you move, if you try to break out of those ropes, I'm gonna poke you with your sword, or I'm gonna unleash this little bullwhip on you.
Well, she looks at you, and she looks at the whip, and she looks at the sword, and her eyes kind of widen a little bit. But you can tell that she's very angry with you. She doesn't say anything. I don't think you've bound her. You haven't gagged her, have you?
No.
Okay, so she could talk if she wanted to, but she doesn't say anything. She just looks furious at you. But she stops wriggling.
All
Good.
right. Look, if you got any information you want to give me, it'll go easier on you later. We're just about done here and are ready to turn our attention to you.
She says nothing. Okay. Is that it for you, Titus? Or do you want to murder
Other than
her?
checking her bonds.
Okay.
Does she still seem secure?
She's very, yeah. I mean, your ropes seem to be holding. Your knots seem to be holding.
Okay, and I'm just kind of playing with the sword, short sword in front of her, and tossing the whip, kind of,
Be
rolling
careful
it
you don't-
between my fingers.
Be careful you don't accidentally get some of that blood, that poison on you. You don't know what it is. All right. Boom clock is down to 14. It's round 11. Wraith, what do you do?
Well, at this point,
You're
Wraith
worried
is-
about Titus and
he's
his.
he's somewhat concerned because apparently we have a necroperv monk and, and 50 shades of Titus going on in the other room. And I'm thinking, how
The
did I end
safest
up?
place is in the flaming desk
Yeah.
room.
How did I end up in this group? However, I just saw this magic user make two what I assume were bombs disappear. And he has said that he's going to look into what he can do with the desk.
Correct.
That my idiot brother is currently holding on to.
No, I'm
Well, he
not
hasn't
holding
touched
on
it
to
yet.
right
He's
now.
wrapping his hands with, well, not pants, but I assume just,
Like bed
cloths
sheets
or
and
whatever.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's-
bed sheets and stuff.
He's not the creepy necro pervy guy. That's the monk. I get it.
That's
Yep.
the monk.
It's definitely the monk.
What happens in the monastery apparently doesn't stay in the monastery.
Right.
But at this point, I'm going to take a 5-foot step to here. And I'm going to call to Arendar to get away from that damn smoking desk and let the magic user get rid of it. Because there's nothing for me to put arrows in, which makes me sad.
Which-
Well, there's a whole bunch of people below decks. You could maybe,
yeah, you stand on top of the stairs. That's just like shooting fish in a barrel.
Do
yeah, there
not-
you go.
Do not tempt me because I don't like half of them. Wait, is that ass? No, never mind. I won't go on that. tangent again. Is
The one guy.
that guy down there?
Hold on a second. I got to check. He might be, actually. The one guy you didn't like?
Yeah.
All right.
I would-
Vortbird?
I wouldn't know he was down there anyway, so this is all sort of outside of the game. But no, I'm going to take the 5-foot step, call to Arendar, tell him to get the hell away from the desk and let the magic user get rid of it. And that's my
The
turn.
dwarf that came up, I'm pretty sure is the guy that you hate.
Oh, well, if he comes up into my range, dude's going to.
He's coming back up because I told him to come up here and chop a hole in the back of the boat.
Okay, well, let's see how that works.
You'll give at least a couple shots as he's coming through the.
Let me double check for sure, but I want to make sure if I'm using the same thing because I got to be honest with you, I just randomly pulled him. Let's see. That's him. It's him.
Alrighty then. Well,
Awesome.
he might have an industrial accident today, but we'll see about that.
Okay, sounds good. Why is this doing that?
Because
Oh, I think I know why. Never mind. It's technology. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, awesome. So you're just going to stand there and you're actually going to say, this is my opportunity to assassinate a hated dwarf.
Well, no, like I said, I'm going to tell Arendar, get away from that damn thing and let the magic user deal with it.
Gotcha. All right, Arendar, do you follow your brother's wise guidance?
Okay,
Or do
like
you pull more clothes off the dwarf, or
if
off the
ever.
hobbit?
Yeah, I'm probably a little disturbed about the whole
The pants?
the pants thing. So I think
There's a pantsless, dead pantsless hobbit at your feet right now.
Right, so I've still got the blankets and stuff wrapped around my hands, but I probably am gonna give the monk some room to do whatever it is he's gonna do.
Yeah, just don't watch. That's
No. But I'm here in case the mage needs me to, like, chuck this thing out the back, or if he can't teleport away, if he can at least open the back up, then I'm here to get the thing off the ship.
Gotcha. Okay. Katarina comes up with, you hear so those of you on deck can hear the axe strikes stop, and then Katarina comes up with Vortbird, and he has his axe in his hand. He's like, "What can I do to help? Simeon, where's Simeon?" Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, over here.
Over here. Ah, yes. He comes. He'll come. Sort of rocking around this side.
please go stand within 30 feet of me and you're back to my position.
You got
Thank you.
stand between me and my brother.
As
That
he
would
comes
be-
over,
That would be
he's
lovely.
looking at Simeon, and he's got his axe in his hand, and you see him sort of look over the edge into that boat, and his eyes are sort of like widened, and you can see, even as dwarves go, he has a grim set to his lip, and you can see him saying, "Oh, an elvish plot." You can hear him sort of say that. "Simeon, what can I do?" And he's like, "Hold, please. I'll hold on a second. Let me examine this thing." "Oh no, what are you gonna do?" And he's not there, is he? He's putting Tamara to bed.
He's gonna-
Oh no is apparently still bad touching the Hobbit.
All right, wait.
Hey, free pants.
Where is the device that's gonna
still
teleport
there.
the boat? Still there. All right.
need
Have
to
we
wait
tried to
until
move
the
it?
mage Says
It's-
he, yeah.
Not yet. So this is the
We've got nowhere
device,
to move
right?
it yet until someone opens up like the back of the boat. So
Wait, can't we just grab it and move it
won't
down
fit out the
the
door.
stairs? Sorry,
it won't.
It won't fit out the door.
really?
Not easily, anyway.
Geez. What can we stand it on its end and move it out like a?
Anybody else here in David Schwimmer yell, "Pivot! Pivot!"
All right. Okay. Damn. And I'm sorry. I had stepped away. Is somebody trying to enlarge the door or to bust out the wood?
The mage is here trying to figure out if he can teleport it away or do something magic wise. If not, then we've got a dwarf here who can help us widen an opening, and then
Okay,
we
great.
can chuck the thing out of here.
Back at the old monastery, a lot of us monks, we practice our karate strikes or kung fu on pieces of wood. I'm going to try to knock out some of the wood around the door frame. May I try that, please?
Absolutely.
Great, good. So what should I roll?
Roll like an attack. Like you're attacking. You don't necessarily need to stun the wood, so you don't need to use that. But
I declare
just
stunning
like
blow. Sorry.
That was not the
the wood is woozy.
Okay, great. Okay.
Can't attack next round.
All right, there we go. I'm gonna hit it with a 20.
Nice. Okay. 5 points of damage. So you guys, Arendar, you sort of step back, and Simeon steps back a little bit too, because he sees Ono sort of wind up and strike the door jamb so hard that bits of it fly off. I mean, he really crunched that thing, and you're looking at his hand going, "Man, he's gonna need to bathe that in ice when we get back." 13 also hits. He takes a sort of another back and just like bam, and you can see it starting to splinter a little bit.
All right, great. I think that's all. I think those are my two actions this round, beating up a door jam. But you
Okay.
know, that door jam is not going to talk back to me.
No, not at all.
All right, cool.
All right, Nero doesn't do anything. Titus, before you get going, Simeon is sort of steps into the room, and you can see it. Whoop, 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 hey, whoa, hey. That's not what I meant to do. Hold on just a second.
Gonna say Titus is up playing with his girlfriend.
Yeah, Simeon should be dealing with the table.
Yeah, Simeon's down here with the rest of us dealing with the chest. For
Okay,
that.
so yeah, no, I drew a line on him on accident. So he steps into the room between Arendar and Ono, carefully avoiding Ono's things, and he's starting to think, and you see him sort of go like this. His eyes begin to flutter, his hands are out, and it looks like he's doing some sort of, well, you're not sure. You've seen Titus do something similar when you guys have gotten like magical loot and you don't know what it is, and Titus will sit down sort of cross-legged and sort of hold the things, and you see his, he's like peering into the magical aether to figure out what these things are. Your guess is that this looks a lot like that. I mean, it's different because it's a different guy, but you think that he might be,
He's trying to identify it or figure it out.
he's trying to figure it out. Yeah, he's trying to figure out what this thing is and how dangerous it is. Titus, your turn. Nira's just looking up at you, furious. She says nothing.
I just say, start talking now, or I'm going to start playing with this short sword with the blue goop on it.
She looks at you. She sees the other Hobbit blood on the sword, blackening in the blue of the poisonous juice.
And she also hears us yelling about the other Hobbit losing his pants. So
whatever you do, don't take my pants. She says, what do you want to know?
Well, first of all, what are all these possessions of yours that I took? Do you know the password to this whip? And why the hell are you here?
I've never seen that whip before in my life. That's my short sword. It's a short sword. I don't know what else you've taken from me.
Well, look at these vials. Look at.
Okay. So she'll point to the ones that have sort of a pale liquid in them, and she says, those are water breathing potions. That was how I was to make my escape. Those other two, those are potions of healing, cure moderate. At least that's what the mage who sold them to me called them. The other one is another kind of poison, not like the blue winnis that's on the blade that you found earlier. That's a giant wasp poison that I made myself. Why don't you have a sip of it? Giant wasp. Yeah, she says, why don't you have a sip of it, taste it, see what it tastes like?
Delicious.
Big jerk.
And why are you here? What's your purpose?
I work for Giorgio.
Giorgio Armani? I love his clothes.
Love his work.
If you'll untie me, you can see that I have the Hobbit version of Giorgio Armani that I'm wearing right now.
When I untie you, I'm going to take your armor.
Is that all you're going to take?
Well,
I heard what they're doing. I heard what they're doing to Giorgio in the other room. It's sick. Sick.
We've got a monk that might do more.
I may be an assassin, but I would never do such a thing.
That's just evil.
She just says, I work for Giorgio, not Armani, the other one.
Well, Giorgio is no longer, so now you work for me, right?
All right. What do you want me to do? I can't do much with these tied up like this.
Oh, we'll talk later. But as long as I know you're on my side, I feel pretty good.
It's not my usual way of doing business, but I guess I got no choice, right?
No, you have no choice.
Fine then.
Basically, you're my prison bitch.
I knew it was going to come to pass.
I'm not Michael Jackson.
All right, so you guys hear, Katerina hears most of this discussion, and she looks over at Titus. You sort of look over, she's like, sort of looks at you. All right, that's the end of round 11. The boom clock is down to 13. closing in on a minute. We're on round 12. Wraith, you're up.
There's the fascist dude.
Oh yeah, he's getting in there. He's going to try and he's standing right there at the other end of the bar from you.
Let him be useful first. So I'm going to call to Arendar and ask him for what's going on. Why are you still in there? Let them handle this. Let's go.
You get the, I will in a minute.
We still have time. We still have time to get away from here in case they fail.
Okay.
It'll be a bummer. It'll be a bummer that we lose the monk, but he's currently defiling a hobbit. I'm sorry. He's currently defiling a dead hobbit.
Dead hobbit.
So
It's a small but important clarification there.
Yes, a small but important additional piece of information. So, look, as far as I'm concerned, I've done all I can do. The magic user's
Okay.
going to try to deal with the desk. Right now, Ono seems to be doing something very unnatural to a hobbit.
Well, now he's punching the door jamb
And my brother is still in the room with these miscreants.
Yes.
with pieces of blanket wrapped around his hands.
Yeah, wrapped up like he's going to Halloween. So knock it off and let's go.
Arendar, are you gonna do anything?
It's not my turn. Oh, now it is my turn. Okay.
It is your turn.
Basically says, as soon as I know they don't need me to move this thing, then yeah, I'll be coming out.
All right, so you will step out.
No. Well, if I will step out to here if Ono's still beating up the door.
Okay, he's still beating up the door as far as I know. We'll find out here in a moment.
And tell the dwarf, yeah, if you can make this door wider, that might help. Just watch
Okay.
just watch the fists that are on the other side of it.
Gotcha. And so you tell that to the dwarf.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Said if your friend here can't get that desk in there magically out of here, then we'll need to drag it through here and it won't fit through the door as it currently is.
All right. Katerina steps over to Titus and asks him, did she talking? She say what's going on here?
She's singing like a choir boy.
Okay. So she's curious. She's just like looking over your shoulder. She's like, can I kick her?
Sure.
All right. So Katerina steps into the room and gives her a nice solid kick. And you can hear Nero's like, ah, God dang it, that hurt. Oh no, what about you?
Yes, sir. Have I made enough room in the door jam to move?
Not in 6 seconds, no. You feel like you could be able to knock out some of this wood, but it's gonna take some time.
Enough time. Like how much time do you think?
Couple 3 rounds.
That's fine. I'm gonna keep hammering at the door jam. My goal is to just knock out enough wood to be able to move this crate through the door.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Go ahead and roll a couple of more attacks.
Yes, sir. Here we go. I got a 15.
Hit. Boom. 10
7.
points.
Yes, sir. And I got a 8. Oh,
Oh, that would be a potential fumble. Let's go ahead and roll that bad boy. Oh, no fumble there. But you did end up a glancing blow. You scraped a fair amount of skin off your knuckles as you missed it.
all right, fine.
All right.
All right.
So as I was walking away, did I hear Katerina ask if she could kick her?
Yeah.
Okay, she might be growing on me now. I still hate her, but she might be growing on me a little bit now.
All right. So Vortbert goes up to the door and plants the axe in the door jamb hard. And so as you're looking at your knuckles, you see an axe blade just kind of come through there, and it just sort of rips down, and a big chunk of wood comes off. And you see Vortbert on the side. He gives you a smile. Keep hitting, boy. We'll get it out. Simeon's still doing that thing where he's analyzing. You see him sort of like, his eyes are flickering back and forth underneath his eyelids, and he's in some sort of trance state. He hasn't said anything yet. Titus, what do you do? Katerina just kicked Nira real hard too.
Oh, no, she didn't care that hard. It was kind of a tap. I asked my Hobbit friend if she knows anything about the desk and what we can do to make it go bye-bye, because if we don't, she's going to go bye-bye with it.
I don't know anything about any desk.
Oh, well, you want me to take you over and see it?
If you can get her to stop kicking me, I guess.
Sure, I'll get her to stop kicking you. She's got better things.
And Katerina kind of looks at you. She's like, I kind of like to kick her again once more before you take her. And before waiting for permission, she kicks her again. Ow! So do you grab her and get her on her feet and like push her out the door into the main area?
No, I'm just threatening her to
Messing
see
with her?
what she can. So what else do you know? How can we get out of here safely? How can we get everyone else out of here safely? And who are you sent to kill?
She looks at you and actually give me a diplomacy check.
Oh, okay. So you might as well just make her start talking now.
Anybody can roll a 1, Andrew. 16. All right. She looks at you at first, and at first she doesn't want to say anything. You can tell that she doesn't want to say anything. And then she sort of looks at you and Katerina and basically says, I work for you now, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And she goes, all right, well, nobody was supposed to escape. I don't know how anybody's supposed to get off this boat, but I was going to get off this boat by drinking one of those water breathing potions and dive over the side and swimming as fast as I can. This boat's headed somewhere where it's not coming back from. I don't know how that's going to work. That was Giorgio's thing. All my job was to make sure that he wasn't interfered with.
So
That was what I was hired to do. And instead, you guys interfered with him.
So you kind of failed.
Well, I'm new to this.
So do I get any sense of which halflings she's with or from? Like, are all halflings bad in this scenario?
No, not necessarily. She doesn't look like the halflings that you guys ran into in the Fire Force, those crazy
Crazy.
ones that live in the Fire Force and worship demons. She doesn't look like those guys. She looks normal for a halfling.
Okay.
A little assassin-y.
All right.
Well, there is that. She did have a lot of poison on her, and she said that she made at least one of those poisons. So she referred to them by name, by characteristic anyway. One by name and one by the characteristic of it being made from
And she referred
wasp,
to,
giant wasp
Yeah.
poison.
the third one was referred to as my precious. So
There you go. So basically she says, look, my job was to keep
you guys from doing
Giorgio
what
from
you
being interfered with. When he had completed what he was supposed to do, he was going to cast fire resistance on himself and teleport over to that ship over there. And she sort of, well, you can't see it because you guys are in a room, but there's a ship about 500 feet away. He was supposed to teleport over there with fire resistance on, or dimension door, because it's not as bad. And the fire resistance was going to keep him safe from the immolation. And then I was supposed to dive in the water and swim away.
Okay, so I relay that to everybody and say, if you can play nice with me, I can play nice with you. Are we good?
To her, you say that?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, and so I've let everybody know, hey, there's a ship about 500 feet away. I don't know much more about it, but that was their escape plan.
Okay. All right. Boom clock goes down another tick. Down to 12. Whoops. Around 12. We're in round 13. Is anybody got anything they want to do until Simeon acts?
Yeah, I do. Did
Okay.
I hear the conversation that Titus just had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I related.
Okay, so in that conversation, there's a ship 500 feet away.
Yep.
Did he give direction? Can I with dark vision see it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's several ships in the harbor, a lot of ships in the harbor.
No, I'm
There's
talking about
only
the specific one that they're talking about.
well, you're not sure specifically which one, but almost all of the ships in the harbor are docked, except for one ship, which is sort of at anchor, and it's about 400 or 500 feet away. It looks like to you to be like an older, sort of not very large fishing boat,
Okay,
something that one or two guys could manage themselves.
okay.
But it's the
Yeah.
only ship nearby that's not docked, like in a dock.
Then I'm going to move to here so I can talk to the magic user.
Okay.
Is he still wide-eyed, glass-eyed doing his
Yeah,
thing?
he's standing in front of this thing, and you can see him sort of shaking a little bit, like he's sussing out information.
Then I'm gonna wait for that to stop.
Okay.
And when he comes back from that, I'm going to suggest to him that he dimension door it to that boat 500 feet away.
Okay.
That fries people.
What's that?
Dimension door will fry people. Oh, you just can tell him that he was going to, that,
No, if he dimensions doors the table, just like he
desk.
dimension doored the bombs or the desk, if he dimension doored, when he dimension doored the bombs, it didn't matter that there was that,
Right.
that problem with,
They're-
with
fire.
translocation magic, because the bombs were gonna blow up anyway. And they basically blew up in astral space or whatever that comes to. for
Whatever, yeah.
dimension door. So if he does the same thing with this desk and it gets to that boat that they meant to use as escape, we're far enough away that we'll be safe, but that boat, and in case there's anybody else on it that was in league with this, they'll be the ones that get, they'll be the ones that get sucked into the,
right, I'd like to
Element.
have more people to
the elemental plane of fire.
basically interrogate after this.
Well, anybody left on this boat, you can interrogate.
Um,
I'm not sure that there's anybody on the other boat, to be honest with you. He said it could be, he said it
It
was
could be
a boat
run
that-
by one or two people. Yeah.
Right, so this dead halfling guy was gonna go there. So he might have been planning on running it himself to get away. But just in case there's any co-conspirators on that boat, taking them out at the same time seems a perfectly acceptable situation, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just directing the magic user
right,
to dimension door teleport, whatever you're gonna do with this table when you finish being glass-eyed and all that. Send it to that boat. The only one at anchor 500 feet away.
Okay. So you're going to tell Simeon that when Simeon is done doing whatever it is he's doing.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Arendar, are you doing anything?
I'm gonna get really nervous if it goes another, how much do we have left?
Boom clock's at 12. So a minute and 12 seconds.
So if it goes another 3 or 4 rounds, I'm gonna get really nervous and be looking to move the thing even without him doing anything, because I know if we need, it's gonna take us a couple rounds to get this thing pushed off this boat, even if they got the door opened up. And I hate for him to like do that thing until it blows up or until a round before, and then say, oh, sorry guys, can't do anything.
Okay.
So
At-
I'm gonna give it,
At this
Go
point,
ahead.
we're kind of do not interfere with the
Right,
affairs
yeah.
of wizards.
right, until
All
I
right. So
don't have enough time to get it off this boat, and then I'm
Right.
just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
So he does. So while you guys are sort of sitting there, and Ono, I'm assuming that you're continuing to punch the wall and working with Vordbert to sort of like chop out pieces of that wall and widen that area. So go ahead and roll attack rolls and damage. I'm writing down the wall has a certain amount of damage that it can take before it's chopped out.
Okay.
And now you are both contributing to it.
Shall I strike now?
Strike now.
All
In
right,
the meantime, while he's doing that, ooh, another
12.
10 points. Yeah, that's good.
And again, again.
Yep.
You
Yes,
get 2
sir.
attacks per round.
15.
There you go. All right, you're getting there.
Strike first, strike
Uh,
fast, no mercy.
Sweep the door.
Sweep the door jam, Ono, sweep the door jam.
That's an illegal move. All All right, so then you see him sort of like you see Simeon's, his head sort of knocks back, his arms fall, and he looks around and he sees you, Arendar, and Wraith and everybody sort of standing around. And he goes, I can't teleport the machine. It's got protective magic on it. It's
Okay.
kind of sentient. So it's protecting itself. He's like, look, I've plumbed it to a certain extent. It wants to do this. He's like, I can't teleport it. He goes, what I can do is teleport that back wall. Would
Okay,
that work? Would that work?
Yeah,
for
we
what
just
you
need to
guys
get this
want to
thing-
do?
We just need to get this thing off the boat, right? Once it's off the boat, then it will no longer teleport the boat.
Well, how deep is the water?
And
That
the
would-
thing probably 80 to 100 feet.
So as long as, because
It'll sink to the
and-
bottom.
and that, yeah, well, I don't know, it's wood, it might float. The whole idea, and I shouldn't know this as Wraith, but the whole idea from what I saw watching the video was you have to get 50 feet away from this thing. So it's wood. It might float. It's super hot. So it might sink because of that, as it causes the water to superheat and steam and push it down. We don't know that yet. And the only thing I'm saying is don't wait until we have like 1 or 2 rounds left.
Right.
Have him do it now.
Okay. And then
Okay.
I'll ask, is there any magic people around that can summon something to take this thing away from here? Like, I don't know, a water elemental or
A
something?
waller elemental?
Any kind of summon
He's
monster?
like, I can summon a water elemental, but really we would need Lee Sidoneth. He's the harbor master. He's a what's the word? He's a hydromancer. He's a water mage. He could easily make this work.
Is he
I mean, I could-
downstairs?
No, he's not here.
Yeah, so that's not gonna help.
Yeah, that's not an asset that we
Yeah.
have then.
Yeah, no. He's like, what I can do is he's like, I can summon an elemental.
And
He
then
goes,
just
and I
push it
can
away
get rid of the back wall. That might work. Is
So
that what you
could-
guys want
Get
me
rid
to
of
do?
the back wall, get a water elemental ready. Oh no, and I will push this thing off into the water. And then just have that water elemental just guide it
Spirit it away.
far away
To
from
the
here.
bottom.
Get it.
And
I mean, if
really,
it's
it-
sinking, then he
it
just
does-
pushes it away as it sinks until it hits the bottom.
uh,
Or if it doesn't, then just push it on the surface, just directly as far away in the middle of the boats as you can get it, just so it doesn't take anything but water with it.
Okay. He begins preparing to teleport the wall away, which he will do next round.
Okay, I make sure the cloth rabbi hands are tight and I make my way over close to the desk.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything this round?
And I tell Ono, come on, man, we're up.
you just moved me.
Oh.
Yeah, stop
I'm
moving
talking-
him.
I'm talking to Mike.
All
He
right.
apparently
Go
gets
get up there, move that
confused.
quick.
He gets confused that we look alike.
Yeah.
My brother's not
I-
the brightest.
Titus, you doing anything this round?
Just keeping
Are you-
an eye on my buddy.
Okay. Boom clock goes to 11, round 14. Simeon finishes his spell, and that back wall, this wall here, goes completely away. And it's just like, and you sort of see like little flames go off as it teleports away. But you can see the night air comes breezing in, and you can hear the water, and it's open. He goes, all right, it's gone. I'll start calling up my allies in the from the plane of water.
Wow. Okay.
But it'll take a moment.
Yeah, I'll just tell them, let me know when they're here, and then Ono and I will grab this thing and chuck it overboard.
All right, it's a full round. So he's going to take a full round
Yeah.
next round to do it. And then the round after, when the boom on round 16 is when it will arrive,
Right.
the elemental.
And to be honest, it doesn't need to be a water elemental.
That's gonna be helpful though, because they're in water and this thing.
Well, it would be helpful, but he could also do like a stone elemental that just grabs it and makes it sink. So the water elemental would be best, but you
Yeah,
were
He
talking
can
about,
call
He can come and summon anything with it, so water.
he can call a water elemental.
oh, then that's perfect. Never mind. You were talking about the other guy that's the hydromancer.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if this guy could do a water elemental.
Yeah, he can do it.
Okay.
All right. So anybody doing anything while he's cooking that up?
Like I said, Ono and Arendar are getting close to it, getting ready to grab it and chuck it over.
Okay. All right. It's boom clock is down to 9. There's less than a minute left. The elemental appears. You can see outside in the night, in the black water of the night, you can see what looks to be a column of water sort of slowly rise up, and it turns around, and you can see it's got 2 big things, and you can hear it say something in this weirdly liquid sort of language. And you hear Simeon reply in the same language, although it sounds really weird coming out of his mouth. Do you he turns to you and says, "It is ready."
Okay. Then we grab it and chuck
All
it over.
right. So would you start to push this thing? Yeah, I'm assuming you're just going to push it over into the water, right?
Yeah, if there's no lips or anything to go over, then yeah, we're just gonna push it straight out.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. There's no like handles or anything. You realize immediately when you get your hand on it first, even with the cloths, the heat coming off of that is going to start doing damage to you.
Yeah.
Second, you realize that this thing is enormously heavy, even for you. It's not made of stone or anything like that, but it seems to have a weird gravity all its own.
Okay.
You're gonna need, so if you and Ono are pushing this thing, I need you guys to make strength checks as you kind of slide it.
I was gonna say, yeah, my character sheet, it shows the what you can do, light, medium, heavy
Yep.
loads, how much you can lift off the ground, and how much you can drag.
Yep.
I can drag 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. Well, this thing seems to want to stay. It's when you're pushing it, I mean, you start and you get a little thing, and it feels like it's fighting against you.
Right.
All right. So what do you?
Oh.
Natural 20 and a 20 from Ono. Well, it's a DC 40, so you guys got it. You see this thing pushing, and you guys, and suddenly you just see Arendar is just like, and he gives a big shove, and then there is a large splash, sploosh, as this thing hits the water, and you can hear sizzle of water as this steam, and you can see steam coming up out of the sea. And then suddenly you see Simeon says, and the column of water, the water elemental sort of folds over the top of this thing, and you hear more sizzling, and it's just sort of like, bloop, and it just pushes it straight downward. You can sort of see, if you sort of like go and look over, you can see this thing going straight down, and it's almost as if it's glowing a little bit, because you can still see the desk pretty clearly, even though it's getting darker and deeper and that kind of stuff. You can see that there's like, it's almost got a fire inside it. It seems like an interminable wait, that minute that was left before it goes off. But when it does, you're several of you, I think, are probably standing over looking down into the water.
I'm holding on to something though.
Okay. And you see, well, first, you don't even really see it. You more feel it. It's like this sort of like whump underneath the water. So I got a question. So Chuck, you're a water guy. You know a lot about the ocean and things like that. What happens if something on the surface of the water, if a ship-sized batch of water directly underneath it disappears?
Wow.
It creates a wave in all directions.
Okay.
So effectively, water reaches its own level. So for instance, in the ocean, if you were to take away 10,000 gallons of water, it would create a dip directly above. It would create a wave in all directions, but it would regulate itself almost immediately.
Okay.
So it would take, I mean, so how much dissipation are we considering here?
The size of a ship turned into a theater. This was designed to take this boat in its entirety to the plane of elemental fire.
So, but you're talking about what, maybe 30, 40,000 gallons?
I don't know about gallons, but probably 15 to probably more, probably close to 50,000 cubic feet.
Yeah, it would create a wave
Okay.
and it would cause a dip where you are. But again, water always seeks its own level.
So it'll
So
normalize pretty rapidly.
literally, whatever the body of water is, and we're talking about this bay and an
Mhm.
ocean or whatever,
Mhm.
it would fill back in almost immediately. So the ship with the theater on it would dip feet.
Would fall.
Yeah, it would fall, but it wouldn't fall as much as maybe you think. It would
Okay.
fall like 6 feet. And then
Okay.
because water would be rushing back into the void immediately, starting.
Right.
immediately. So basically you have this big dip. There'd be a wave to every side, but depending on the
Okay.
size of this ship, the dip might be enough to cause people to get like that roller coaster feeling. But yeah, I
Mhm.
don't, at 50,000 cubic feet of displacement, unless there was something that it hit on the way down that caused it to go sideways, I don't know that it would.
It's
You know what I mean? So like
oh yeah.
if under the water there were a rock structure caused it to hit and go sideways, then it would pop back up and it would bobble, which would be a much more sort of staggering thing for the people on board.
Right.
But other than that, that's not enough water, or that's not enough displacement from
Okay.
what I understand, to be sort of anything more than a jostling event. That's not catastrophic in any
Okay. So
means.
what? All right. So that happens. So you feel as this thing goes off, essentially what it's done, it has done its job. It has teleported a ship-sized amount of water, in this case, to the elemental plane of fire and itself with it.
There's a lot of steam in that area of the.
Well,
Yeah.
no, because the water is on the plane of fire.
No, I'm saying.
So there's steam there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of it there.
But no, but basically, from your point of view, basically a large volume of water the size of the ship, about 80 to 100 feet below the ship, vanishes. And it does that dip thing, and then it swirls back out. What also happens is this boat was anchored in multiple points to that bottom. So since it was on the bottom, it took a fair amount of land with it. The bottom of the bay went away with it as well. So all of those anchors just are like, and the chains, anything the chains were there are things. So the ship is now loosened. It's detached from the thing. So you guys get joggled around, and you can hear screams from downstairs. A fair amount of water comes splooshing in where you guys are, in the back of the boat, and you can see that there's a fair amount of water has come above the gunwales, and it's falling off right now. You do hear people starting to panic, and Titus, you will hear them begin to come up those stairs, and there's no telling them to get back down at this point. They're coming up.
So the anchors of the so let's say it was 4-point anchored.
Right.
The anchors of this theater boat.
Yep.
Disappeared.
Are now gone. Yeah. They were teleported away as well.
So the boat's adrift at this point.
Well, what it's doing is it's spinning around a little bit. Do any of you guys have like sailing skill or anything like that?
Give me a minute.
Give me a minute. How's that work?
Now I do. No,
Yeah, no, I don't.
I do not.
Okay. Well, so what you guys, everybody give me a perception check. Okay. Titus, you got one for me?
There we
26. Okay. So you guys see Wraith, Arendar, Ono, and to a larger extent Simeon and the dwarf as well. As you guys are looking out the hole in the back of the boat, that wall is gone, that bulkhead is gone. So you're looking basically out over the bay, and you can see because of that, the lights of town are sort of shifting, right? Because the boat is starting to spin because it's now been detached from the thing. Titus, you're sort of amidships in the boat, and you can see as you look up at the large, you're looking right at that large mast. You can see that mast begin to sort of keel a little bit. And your guess is that, I mean, you guys were downstairs. This ship was never meant, or hasn't been meant, to sail or be actually afloat for a long time. Now that it is now suddenly a actual ship as opposed to a theater in the shape of a ship, you've got a problem, because it is not designed like a ship is designed, right? So it's got this big bottom area that is causing it to pitch now, because there's a lot of, and correct me if I get the physics wrong, but there's a lot of, it's the air inside a boat that keeps the boat on top of the water, right?
Yeah, effectively. But if the boat was seaworthy, in that it would float, and they had it anchored at 4 points so it wouldn't move.
Right.
Removing the anchors, depending on how it's built, might make it pitch if it's not balanced, but it wouldn't make it sink.
I don't think it's
it was
sinking.
either- it was either
it's starting to pitch.
It was either seaworthy or it wasn't. And if it's balanced at least to equal sides, and it doesn't take on water naturally, which it wouldn't have been anyway,
Right.
because it was floating.
Right.
So it's not like the casinos in St. Charles, where they basically built it on a sandbar and dug a moat around it and called it a boat, right?
Right.
This was actually floating on the water. It was just anchored at 4 points.
Right.
So now that the
So-
anchors have been removed, the boat's actually floating.
Correct. And it's starting to spin, sort of in the water, and it's starting to keel over a little bit because of the distribution of weight, right? This was those anchor points
Right.
kept it stable.
Held it as a solid point. So if they, after the fact, once it was a boat floating and anchored, if they started building it unbalanced, to an extent, it could pitch to one side or the other.
Yeah, it's not sinking as far as you can tell. It's still
Right.
got plenty of thing. That was the thing. But now that it's detached from the bottom, from its anchor chains,
It doesn't ride true anymore.
right? It was never, this ship was never meant to be sailed.
Right.
Right.
It's not meant to
it's
be a
not-
boat.
Right. It's not meant to be a boat. So it's designed differently. It's designed to be a theater, only shaped like a boat, kind of shaped like a boat, because it's got this big sort of bulbous area
Yeah.
below decks, that was partially underwater and partially above water. So now it's starting to bob and keel.
Yeah. And
And
like I
people
said, it's like the St. Charles boats.
Yeah.
They were boats at one point, but then they basically banked them on a sandbar and dug a moat around them. If you actually tried to float them again, they probably wouldn't float straight.
They wouldn't work. Yeah.
Because
So
they built too much weight to one side, not enough weight to another side, too much in the back, not enough in the front, right? So it just does this
mhm.
this sort of flagging around thing.
So we can try and compensate by that as people are coming up on the deck, though, putting them towards the high side.
Well, yeah, you can try to distribute weight, but the weight of people, and I don't know how many people on this ship, but when you're talking
About
about
50 or so.
that's not enough weight. When you're talking about a boat that is, okay, I don't want to get stupid into it. When you're talking about a boat that's this big and this heavy,
hmm
distributing an extra 500 pounds in the front compared to an extra 500 pounds in the back will make a difference. But when you're talking about a 5,000 pound, 10,000 pound ship, it's not going to make that much of a difference.
Right. It's not going to cause it to. It won't. Them moving around below decks is not going to sink this ship. is what
You
you're saying.
can trim it, but you're not going to cause a great deal of difference in the buoyancy of the ship by moving around
Gotcha.
that little weight.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Well, they're just, as we drop out of initiative, I mean, you've managed to get rid of this thing. You've saved this ship. It is now detached from the bottom and is moving a little bit. It's not going far. The rain that had been starting when you guys arrived and was coming down quite significantly is now it seems to, it's almost as if it steps up a notch. You can, so Wraith, give me a perception check. Just Wraith.
26.
26. Okay. You see, so for the last minute and a half of game time, you've been busy. with all this stuff and that kind of thing. But as you look back out over to the over the bay, as the boat is kind of spinning around a little bit, and there's splashing and things like that, you could see that boat that supposedly Giorgio was going to teleport to is now moving out to sea.
Okay.
But it's frankly, your guess is it's too. I mean, you couldn't even hit it with an arrow right now. It's probably 600 feet away.
No,
It's not moving fast, but it's moving with no lights, and it's sort of like kind of quietly fleeing the scene.
So they've put up sails.
Yeah, they've got sails up.
Okay, so can I see the name on the boat?
Doesn't not from here. I mean, you're not sure there even is a name on the boat.
There might not be. So I'm gonna try and memorize the configuration
Okay,
so that if I see that ship again, I will recognize it.
you'll be able to recognize it.
And
Okay, cool.
Does it have a mast? Does it have a masthead?
It have a mast, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. Not the
Oh, you mean the
mast.
thing in the front?
Yes.
Yeah, nothing ornate or anything like that. It's just typical point.
So it's a completely plain ship.
Yeah.
About
It looks very common. It looks like, frankly, between your eyes, it looks pretty much the same as a lot of the fishing ships around here. The smaller fishing ships.
X size, unadorned, no name on it. I'll just try to get a feel for whatever identifying qualities it has. If the sails are a slightly different color or whatever,
Gotcha.
just so that I can
Okay.
try to recognize it again in the future.
Gotcha.
You telling
Okay.
us that?
Well, I mean, as I'm staring at it, I don't know that I'm necessarily defining what I'm looking for, but I'll point out that
That's
ship,
the ship that they were supposed to escape on is.
that ship was what they said that guy was going to escape on. And it's moving away, which means there are other people on it.
Right. If you say that, I'm gonna get with the mage guy and say, do you have any way to get in touch with your Aquamancer, whatever that guy is?
Hydroman?
Yeah. Well, he goes, so Simeon will definitely, he's like, look, I'm definitely going to talk to Lee Sidoneth is his name. And he's the hydromancer for this town. He's a member of the Lyceum Council, teaches hydromancy at the school. But he's also the Harbor Master. So he's the guy who controls the waters around Sequin. And essentially, he's like, look, he should have been. This is on his watch. Somebody tried to bomb a ship on his watch, and ruin a ship. This is something we definitely need to speak to him about, and I plan to do so tonight.
And if he's the harbor master, he should already know the specifics of that ship. Because it's in his harbor.
Should, yeah, he should be well aware of the names and proprietors of every fishing boat that's here.
And if you can get to him quickly, can he get someone to give chase?
He goes, I can't teleport myself.
Right.
To shore. He goes, I could go by his house. He goes, but we have to get all these people off this ship. This ship isn't seaworthy. It's now free floating. We have to figure out a way to do this. I'm going to send a couple of people to swim to shore and bring
We've got one boat
disembarkation
over
boats
there,
here.
if you want to get rid of all the dead, burnt out elves in it.
So Simeon looks over the side at that, and the dwarf Vortberg kind of goes over to him and says, "Oh, that's an elf. I think they were at the bottom of this conspiracy. I know that Giorgio was a hobbit." And you could see Simeon is sort of like, okay, here we go. But he's like, did you see who came in this boat?
No, but the people that we killed that are all the humans up here that are dead, they were disguised as elves when we first started fighting them. As they died, they became human.
Disguised as elves? What? What? That doesn't make any sense. These are, he looks down at the bodies again. These are definitely elves. Something's very, very strange here.
Well, obviously, someone wanted you to think that elves were attacking this ship.
Well, and the dwarf is like, think? I'm pretty sure it was. You said yourself that those guys were the bowman up on the forecastle. He's an elf, right? Didn't you say he was?
They
No,
look
he's a
like
human.
elves until we killed them, and now they're humans. You can go look at them right now. They look like humans.
I bet you these elves in this boat were part of the plot, and they probably set off one of those bombs. I knew this was going to happen. The elves have been against the people of Sequin for forever, and they're trying now to assassinate members of the Lyceum Council because they knew that we weren't going to put up with them taking over the town. This is an absolute travesty.
Or maybe the whatchamacallit people know that the elves and us are trying to form an alliance, and so they're trying to put a wedge between us. So we'll fight each
Oh.
other and won't unite against them.
A wedge, you say? Perhaps you haven't heard of Occam's razor, but the simplest explanation is the best. Here's your evidence right here. The elves were trying to assassinate members of the Lyceum, and a goodly portion of the nobility of Sequin, or not the nobility, but the upper crust fellows. We don't have nobility here, and they almost got away with it. He comes over to you, Arendar, and he basically claps your shoulder. He says, "You and your friends have done this town an immense service. Not only have you saved the lives of some of the most important people in Sequin, but you've also uncovered an elvish plot. I can't believe that this is a coincidence. It's impossible that it's a coincidence. Yesterday, they come to us and tell us that they're going to take over the town, and today they try to chop the head off of the ruling class of Sequin to make their job a little easier. This is an outrage, and I will see to it that the elves pay, and pay dearly, for this affront."
All right, I gotta step in. I'm gonna roll diplomacy and
Okay.
tell this guy to put a
Really?
sock
'Cause
in it.
I'm gonna roll arrows in his face if somebody does something.
All right, so 16 diplomacy. What do you say to him? Put a sock in it? Only nicely.
Hey, let's look at all the facts. Let's dig into this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the elves, maybe it isn't, but let's do an investigation before we start screaming off about who did what.
Yeah, let's talk to your girlfriend tied up over there. She came on board with these humans that look like elves. Why?
Yeah,
why
we have some witnesses. We have some people who can testify.
Indeed.
and does she know
We
what
definitely
happened?
should interrogate her. Huh?
And and basically asked, does she know what happened to the elves that got burnt out down here?
I don't know. Did you guys ask her that?
Yeah.
How?
All right,
how-
so
Do I need
Go ahead.
to persuade her?
No, well, this is sort of an aside, so go with this.
Katerina says, "I'll help."
Okay, so 28 without Katarina's help. Of course, with
Okay.
Katarina kicking her, I probably get a +2.
Probably, yeah.
So that's a 30 intimidate.
All right, so Chuck, what were you going to say? Is he there? Chuck? I thought he was in the middle of saying something. Did
He was.
Did he have did his internet go poopy? He hasn't been using his video all day, so I don't know
All right, so I can't see
if
him.
he's frozen or anything.
We'll just wait and see if we hear him in a little bit.
Okay.
Are you gonna type to him?
Yeah, I just did. We'll see. He's still on roll 20, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so you do it. So yeah, so Katerina certainly gives her another good boot, and kicks her again. And you do a 28 intimidate check. What do you say to her?
You need to tell us now what happened to these elves.
I hope you like pants, because you're about to be bona fide.
Oh man.
All right, so she looks genuinely frightened. She's like, "Look, I don't know what all that was. I had nothing to do with that. That was Giorgio's job, and I told you my whole job here was to keep Giorgio from being interfered with while he was setting up the thing that he set up. Beyond that, I don't know anything.
But you didn't witness what happened to them. You were
No,
out.
I didn't see anything. I was here on the boat before that. I came over to this boat earlier this afternoon, and I hid below decks in one of the staterooms until it was time. It was time for us to enact the plan.
Wow.
I think Giorgio brought the boat. I don't know. I don't know what that's about.
Can I roll a perception check, or I don't want?
Like a sense motive.
Yeah.
All right. I think Chuck's back. Sense motive 22. Yeah, generally speaking, you're getting the idea that she's telling the truth.
All right.
She seems pretty frightened, and certainly Titus standing over to her with a poisoned short sword of her own is not helping things one bit. Especially since it's already got blood on it, and she's pretty sure that he used it to kill Giorgio. So it could be that she's withholding some information, but I mean, it seems to you that the stuff that she is saying is true.
Okay.
She doesn't seem to know. I mean, you get the impression that she doesn't know much about the boat.
Got it.
I mean,
Okay.
she knew of its existence, but as to the hows and whys, that wasn't her job. Chuck, can you still hear us?
I can. So from where
Ah,
we're
he's
at-
back. Okay.
I'm sorry, I had to go pee.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I didn't announce it until now.
Okay.
So how far from the docks? Because this boat was sort of in the middle of the boat.
Yeah, so about 500 feet to 600 feet away from the docks. So basically, Simeon has detailed a couple of sprightly young theater goers to sort of strip down, which Ono seems to be taking a weird interest in, and then swim over to the dock. They're going to go fetch more boats to come and get everybody off of this boat.
Well,
Luckily,
if that's what we're gonna do, why don't do we have ropes long enough to have them? Because what I was thinking about doing was attaching the rope to an arrow, firing it at the dock so that someone could grab it tied up and we can pull the boat to safer area with rope. So if they're gonna have naked people swim,
well, they're
which-
wearing their underclothing.
I don't know why they would do that in front of Necroperv Monk, but that's a questionable thing to try and do in front of this guy who obviously has issues.
It seems like he's working them out, though. So
Or for that matter,
he's getting what he needs.
Again, there's our S&M magic user over here. 50 Shades of Titus. We gotta. I'm starting to worry about these folks, but
Hey now,
Lawful good.
so
50 Shades of Titus.
yeah. Well,
I've got a book idea.
You're lawful good in the fact that you define lawful and good. You're tearing the pants off of naked halflings. Just on that alone, I'm thinking that doesn't scream lawful good to me. But then again, what do I know? I'm a ghetto drow, half drow. And so I'm not judging.
there you are.
I'm nervous as shit in your
We don't
presence,
judge.
but I'm not judging. So no, the question would
Sounds
be,
like you're judging.
can we get ropes to pull?
Yeah, that's a great idea. There's plenty of rope on board, and certainly more than enough for at least a couple of people to swim the ends of ropes to the docks back to land.
and
So
then we can pull this floating abomination towards the dock.
Right, that makes sense. And they can rig up some winches of some sort and take it. It'll take a while, and these people probably want to get off this boat sooner than that. But
Well-
it would certainly ultimately bring the boat back to the dock. It'll probably take a couple hours though.
As my mama used to say, want in one hand, shit in the other, see which one fills up faster.
Your mom and my dad would have probably got along famously.
So
Um,
let's get rope to the thing. They
Yep.
can set up winches. We can pull, try to get the boat over to where we can all disembark. And we'll
Yep, they're gonna-
do that as soon as we can.
Yeah, he's actually, so what he's going to do, Simeon is going to do is he's going to vaporize the back wall of the other stateroom, this one over here,
Okay.
next door, so that they're both open to the rear, and those ropes can come through the back of the rope, and he'll have people tie them around the main mast so that you basically winch it evenly
Right.
backwards, and it'll be able to bring it close. But we will take a couple hours before you get. As you guys are doing this, and it takes probably 45 minutes to get this all worked out, get the winches in place, and you begin to feel the sort of like the boat being pulled. Everybody kind of comes up on deck. They want to know what happened. They stare at the dead bodies. They wonder where happened to the Hobbit's pants. There's a lot of discussion. the boat with the dead elves and it gets a lot of attention, and you can hear, I mean, so Titus, to a certain extent, Titus and Arendar have kind of calmed Vortbert down, but you guys, as the boat is getting winched back, you can hear Vortbert talking to some of the people and basically saying, look, this was obviously an elvish attack. Now it was carried out by hobbits, and he points to Nira and he points to the body of Giorgio and that kind of stuff. But this was an elvish attack, and we need to respond. And a lot of people are like, you're right. We need to do something. As all that's going on, and over the course of the next 2 hours, the rain, which has been coming down pretty significantly, begins to come down even harder. It's starting to be those like weird sheets of rain, and people go back downstairs to get out of it. But the wind has also picked up as well. You guys aren't meteorologists or anything, but this seems, I don't know. Titus, give me a quick knowledge arcana.
Okay.
Doesn't seem natural.
It does not seem natural, especially the speed with which it's coming up. I mean, it's
Oh, for God's sake.
you're not sure what's going on, but it doesn't seem natural. And furthermore, it seems amazingly strong for, I mean, you guys are on a river. You're not on the edge of the ocean where a hurricane could potentially come over and destroy your town. But it is starting to smell a little bit like a hurricane. The rain is coming down in sheets. The wind is picking up a lot. By the time 2.5, 3 hours have passed, and the big boat is finally drawn up into a series of docks and sort of brought on there. And there's a bunch of people out on the docks that are sort of like lashing it too, and that kind of stuff. The rain is just sheeting down. Winds are probably in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range consistently, with gusts even higher. It's just unpleasant to be outside. So a lot of people, I mean, and now it's like 2 a.m. So a lot of people are, the people who are on the boat, they get off the boat quite quickly and they head out into town to their various homes. You guys are able to get off. Before you do, Simeon sort of drags you into that room right there where you see Titus at, and basically says, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the Lyceum, and I'm going to try and figure out and try and scry what I can. I have, what he says is like, look, I have some allies in the astral plane. I'm gonna see if my allies there can get to the bottom of what's happened here. I'm also gonna try and get a hold of our harbor master and find him, but I might not be able to get a hold of him right away. So if you guys have a minute, can you guys like go over to his house? He gives you like directions. Can you go talk to him and see where he is and tell him I need him at the Lyceum right away? Would you guys be able to do that for me?
Sure.
And then come back to the Lyceum with him, and we can talk about what I learned there, if anything. I'm going to do some scrying. I'm going to try and figure out what's going on here. He goes, this rain. He goes, Titus, I don't know if you felt it as much as I have, but you can tell that this is an unnatural rain. Someone is messing with the weather, and I plan to get to the bottom of who it is.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. So that he leaves the boat and a couple of guys, and you can see that the dwarf is leaving with some of the people that he had been talking to. Laura Beck comes up to you guys as she departs, and she's been helping some of the older people downstairs, and some people, during the when the thing went off, some people got jostled, fell over, they were injured, minor injuries, and she's been taking care of those guys. And she just comes up to you guys and she says, look, I know that you're probably in the midst of something here and trying to find out who would do such a horrifying act. But I just wanted to give you my thanks as well. That had it not been for you, I think we would have all been dead. And I don't know if I buy into Vortbert's elvish conspiracy theory, although she looks into the boat too and she sort of shakes her head. But I wanted to say that you've done a great thing here. And it will not soon be forgotten here amongst the people of Sequin.
Who is it that says that?
Laura Beck. She's the female paladin sort of like, she doesn't run it, but she sort of like manages one of the refugee camps.
One of those things. Yep.
Yeah, she does a lot of things. She's the person who is largely she's doing a lot of like sort of dealing with refugee issues, trying to maintain the peace, dealing with injuries and disease and things like that. She was the one who was basically like, during the council meeting, she's like, look, can we get more resources assigned to helping these refugees? There's poverty, there's violence, there's things happening in the refugee camps that are unpleasant, and we need to, if we want these people to help us against the Sargavans, we have to make sure that they're not at each other's throats while they're here. We have to devote resources to that. But she had an edge, but it was very heartfelt and very sort of genuine sort of thank you from her, and you get the impression that whatever goes on, that you probably have a friend in Laura Beck.
Okay.
You literally saved her life, and a lot of the other theater goers will thank you, and it's pretty clear that Laura Beck has told them who's been responsible for saving their lives, and they come up to you in various kinds of things. Thank you so much, you've that kind of thing, and well done. The men are like, well done, that is a heck of a thing you did here, that kind of thing, and then the women are like, thank you so much. But finally, but mostly because of the weather and the time, everybody's kind of anxious to get out of here.
Mhm.
As you guys disembark, so there's a couple of things. Simeon wants you guys to go to Lee Sidoneth's home, which he gives you directions to check it out, see if he's there, and figure out why he's not answering the message spells that Simeon has sent to him, which he's tried to reach him a couple of different times. He's just not answering or not receiving them, and that's curious in and of itself. What do you guys want to do with Nira? You could take her with you. Or you can give her to Simeon to have him take her back to the Lyceum for later, more focused interrogation, perhaps. But Titus, even though she's still tied up, but she sort of is, she's staying close to you. And it may have something to do with the fact that she may be under the impression that you are her new employer. So if you need anybody assassinated, now's the time.
Let's keep her with us.
Okay, I'm going back to the hotel first to
Okay.
actually get my outfit up, my armor on and all that. This combat sucked, only having just a freaking sword and that was it. So I'm getting my adventuring gear on before I go to this guy's house.
Okay. Anybody else doing that? I mean, you guys are doing, I'm assuming you're doing the same thing. When you get Nira in there, you get some raised eyebrows. So when you get to the Laughing Squid, I mean, the shutters are shut up. It's pouring out. The wind is really thick. You can see that some of the tiles from some of the roofs of the houses have been blown off. In one case, there's a tree that's been uprooted, a tree that's in a small area in town, a little park area, very small. A tree has been sort of blown over. It's getting pretty rough out. You get back to the Laughing Squid, and the night crew is on, so the owner's not there. But I mean, you guys get there probably around 4 a.m., 3:30, 4 a.m., and you're pretty tired, and you have a Hobbit that you've tied up with you. What are you gonna do with her?
Doesn't everybody have tied up halflings with them?
Sometimes.
Well, I guess ask her if she's more hungry or more tired.
She's tired. Nira is tired. It's been a long day. A long day of assassinating.
Okay. If we're leaving her here, we're taking all of her stuff. So if she's got any hope of getting anything back, she can't leave. She's an assassin. I don't trust her at all, but just saying.
So like, what's the end game for this halfling?
Yeah.
Assassin. Why are you not turning her over to the legal authority to have her imprisoned?
Well,
Is it just because you want to interrogate her further?
It is, and because I basically have said you work for me, so the implication is.
Well, you've said that
Does
she
he
works
call
for you.
dibs?
Yeah, you said that
I
she works
called
for you.
dibs.
She might be acting that way, but at this point, you have absolutely no relationship,
She's given me information.
employer or otherwise, that you can trust her.
I don't totally trust her, but I think there's some implication that she's under my care and that, I mean, ultimately, if she needs to go to the authorities, she will, but I don't know what will be done with her. And at this point, I feel somewhat responsible for her. She's been, as far as I know, honest with me. And I am chaotic good, so.
So effectively, you're taking responsibility for her.
Well, I'll lop her head off if she pisses me off, but
Well, no, and I get that, but I'm just saying, so you're gonna keep her around. Are you gonna keep her tied up the whole time? Or does she work for you and you're gonna just have her follow you
all
about?
right, good question. Let me do a sense motive on her. And
Okay.
just kind of get a sense of where she's at.
Okay.
So if I do a good sense motive and I think, she's really believes herself in my employ, then, I might just bind her wrists so that she can sleep a little better. 20.
20. Okay. So the vibe you get, she really kind of glommed onto the idea of I work for you now. Now you're not sure whether or not it's entirely selfless, but she basically is like she's been much calmer. She's not trying to attack anything or that kind of stuff. Even though she's tied up, she hasn't been trying to escape. But yeah, I think the vibe you get from her is that, well, she's a gun for hire, right? They hired her to protect Giorgio. She didn't manage that, but certainly gave it a shot. She just ran into a more powerful group of people who ended up sort of torpedoing. But you don't get the vibe. I mean, you're not sure if she was part of the plan or hired help. In this case, she's found a new group of people, and in you, Titus, basically said, look, she was hired. If she was hired help, she was hired to do a job. She failed that job, but you're saying, well, I could use you. And so she's probably saying, well, this could be, the universe telling me this is a good idea. So now she's the vibe you get is that she's like waiting for you, or at some point you're going to tell her what she should do, who she should kill, that kind of stuff. And that, that she has hitched her wagon to a better star than she had previously.
Do I know what her alignment is?
No. But she is an assassin.
Assassin is always evil.
Okay.
To metagame. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna keep you tied up. I'll cover you in a blanket. I'll put you on a mattress, and we'll talk in the morning.
Okay, deal. Whatever you say, boss. All right, so you tuck her away. You're gonna get the rest of you guys get sort of get your your equipment like Arendar is.
Yeah.
Well, I was never naked because I didn't go to the damn play.
You didn't go to the play, and you guys didn't get to see the rest of it, which is sad. Maybe Katerina, she was spoiling it for Arendar, so maybe she can tell you how it also goes.
Which is really the only saving grace is that the play ended early.
How was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
It ended
right,
early with a bang.
So okay, so you guys tool up and you head through town. By the time you leave the Laughing Squid, the weather outside has become horrific. I mean, just sheets of rain. You can't see 5 feet in front of you. The wind is picked up. You guys are soaked to the bone 10 seconds after you walk out. But you still try and make your way over there. It's difficult going. His Sidoneth, the hydromancer's house, is sort of like across town a little bit. There's no one on the streets. You do see that the sun is going to be up pretty soon because a sort of desultory gray light is forming in the east, but it's still quite dark, and the sheer thickness of the cloud cover pouring this rain down onto you guys is is causing it to be even darker still. takes you a while to get to the hydromancer's home. He has a nice home in one of the more wealthier districts of town, and on the other side of the harbor. And you get there, and it seems okay. The gate is locked. The house seems to be, there's no lights on in the house or anything like that, but it seems undisturbed. There's nobody outside or anything like that. The door is shut. The windows are closed but not shuttered, so you can sort of. I mean, you can't really sort of see in from the street, but nobody's shuttered the windows. Most of the other windows in the houses nearby are shuttered because of the rain and the wind.
So it seems like the house might be empty. Because any normal person would have set shutters in a storm like this.
That's true.
Do I need to get us through the gate or try to?
I mean, it's not, when I say the gate is locked, it's mostly latched. You can just reach around the front of it and sort of pull the latch up and it unlocks. So it's easy. There's no, it's not like locked up tight. The front door is locked though.
Well, once we let ourselves into the grounds,
Mhm.
there still doesn't seem to be any movement. The windows are not blocked, even in this storm.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go check the front door
Okay.
and see, just
Should we officially knock once just to say we did before we finish our break and entering?
no.
Okay.
Because if there's
It's all
bad guys,
B&E all the time.
if there's bad guys in there, officially knocking once just alerts them that we're already here. So perfunctorily, I'm gonna check for traps.
Okay.
And so that's a perception roll.
Yep. Ooh, natural 20.
33.
33. Wow, that's good. All right. So you check in for traps. You don't see any traps. In fact, it looks like a normal door. It is locked when you check through that. You do see, the only thing out of the ordinary for this door is you do see several long, relatively deep scratches on the door, sort of below the handle. So there's one of those sort of like ornate handles with a thing on it and that kind of stuff below that handle, and you wouldn't have been able to see them from the street, especially with the rain. But there seem to be like 3 or 4 sort of deep gouges in the wood, and they look relatively fresh.
So
Your
like,
guess is that they happened recently, maybe in the last 24 to 48 hours. That's as close as you can get.
so like something that opened the door had claws.
Or like an
They
axe?
could be claw marks. They could be tool marks, but from your practiced eye, they don't look, if they are tool marks, they're not, whoever was deploying this tool was not doing it to try and break in. They're not in the right place. They're not in, they don't look like they were thinking. It's potentially claws. They could be tool marks, but if it's for a break-in, it's in the wrong spot on the door.
So that's sort of all I'm able to take in with a 32.
Yep. The door itself otherwise looks normal.
All right, then I'm gonna try and disable the lock.
Yep.
25.
It's disabled. It's not, frankly, it's not a very complicated
20.
lock. It's more ornamental to your eyes than anything else. And it opens fairly easily.
Okay, 24, by the way. The +1 is for traps, not
Gotcha. 24.
so I will try to open the door smoothly, not make a bunch of noise with it, sort of lift up a little bit to keep any creaking from the hinges, that sort of thing.
Yep. The door opens smoothly and quietly, and you find yourself sort of looking into a fairly well apportioned sort of salon room, a front room, where guests would be welcome. It's a fairly large house, but it seems, it doesn't see, I mean, you don't see any sort of immediate signs of a struggle or anything like that. Everything seems to be in its place.
All right, so I'll look back at my friends and ask them if they want me to try and determine if anything has gone wrong quietly or if we want to move as a group. Because I know some of us are not very stealthy. And
Actually, I think
so I can try to move stealthy through and see what I can find. And you guys stay here and just keep an eye on the door. Or we can all move together. But my brother's a clumsy ox.
hey, I'm actually dang stealthy.
Compared to Compared to whom?
Okay, I got a 12, and for a 5th level fighter, that's freaking incredible.
Yeah, well, watch. The first thing I'll roll after giving you a hard time is a 1. So we'll see. Your stealth is plus 16, but you freaking fumbled. So anyway, do you want me to try to scout?
Yeah, if you want to do that first, and we'll just don't go very far, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. Okay. So wait, we have 60 feet of dark vision. I'm assuming it's dark in here, right?
Yes, it's dark. There's no lights on.
Okay, so then I'm gonna not get more than 60 feet away from my brother because then
Okay.
I know he can still see me.
Right.
But I will move and basically from the looks of the house, you have the front door, you have whatever. If there's like stairs up or something, you can try to get a feel for where the bedrooms would be, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Maybe-
absolutely.
Maybe not always, but in most cases, houses are built relatively the same as far as architecture is concerned.
Yeah, I mean this one. I mean it's a 2-story house, and you go through it pretty quickly. So I put a blue circle on where the house is. As you go through it, you can see that the back of the house butts up nearly against the harbor itself.
Okay.
So as you're looking at it, you would have had an absolutely clear view of the Wayfarer Inn, the theater,
Right.
during this whole thing, from his thing. I mean, there would be completely unobstructed. As you go through the house, and it's a fairly big house, it's completely quiet. You find no people. The guy, this Lee Sidoneth, it's obvious that this is the house of a magic user who lives alone. There's no indication that any other people live here. There's no indication that any animals or anything like that live here. There are a couple of large aquariums in which there are fish that you sort of, if you get, the light begins to come up as you're in the house. So you don't have to necessarily fire up a sun rod or anything to see things. And you have dark vision anyway, so you can see that he's got a couple of big fish tanks and the fish are burbling away inside. The only thing odd is the lack of people. The bed is made. You do notice that there does seem to be a fair amount of clothing missing. Like there's voids in the bureaus and in the things. Like there's clothing missing.
like someone
There's
packed to leave.
potentially there's very little food in the kitchen, which has ample room for food storage and drink storage, but there's nothing really there. Just a few sort of small things, no fresh food, a few small preserved things that seem to be just sort of back on a shelf. So there doesn't seem to be any food storage here. You don't find anything, and you do a pretty thorough search. You don't find anything that would be reminiscent of a treasure chest or anything like that. Although you do find some open areas inside the closets upstairs where chests could have been, but there's nothing there now. Nothing under the bed, that kind of stuff. You do find a small laboratory, not very big, that also faces the harbor, another room that faces the harbor. In the laboratory is a variety of glassware. But one thing that you notice is that there is a large podium, sort of a pedestal podium, where it's, to your eyes, where somebody would keep a large book, but there's no book on the podium.
Okay, so
He packed up and left.
yeah, from what I'm able to put together, this guy packed up and bailed.
He's certainly not there. And it looks like there's some clothing missing. His spell book may be missing. Any ready cash is missing. Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, so it seems like perhaps he knew what was about to happen, played his part in it, and then disappeared.
Potentially.
So I don't think we're going to get anything else from here. The guy has packed up and moved on and done so in a fairly efficient manner. It doesn't appear that he was packing up and running last minute. Because
no, everything else is
missed.
everything else in the house, except for the things that you feel like are missing, is placed where you would normally be. There's no instance of thrashing about. There's no evidence of any sort of conflict or fight or anything that may have taken place in here. It just is empty.
Yeah. So
Okay, we're gonna call dibs then.
This is your house now.
Yeah, so now we have a place to stay. Where we don't have to pay for the inn. Wait, isn't that how it works?
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean,
Well, especially if your suppositions are correct in that somehow the harbor master and hydrometer was involved in this plan somehow,
Yeah.
which seems kind of crazy. I mean, he was a member of the Lyceum Council.
no,
He was a respected teacher at the school itself in matters of hydromancy. He was a powerful magic user. If he was somehow involved in this plot, well, that could mean anything.
so,
But he's
At this
probably, if he was involved in this plot that you guys foiled, he's probably not coming back.
yeah,
right,
he's not coming back. That's why I'm calling dibs.
yeah.
All
So
right.
we've got dibs and seconded. But now we need to go to the Lyceum and talk to the guy who
Yeah,
was looking for this guy and let him know that he left in a controlled and purposeful manner.
planned, yeah.
Yeah, there was no rushing. There's nothing that was incidentally or accidentally left behind. This guy has bailed, which suggests to us that he was involved in this whole thing, whether primarily or ancillary, and has now spooked and gone.
Okay.
And if
So-
you need us in the future, we will be at that address.
555 Harbor Way.
Exactly.
Or what was it? A16 Ocean View.
Right?
Do any of you guys listen to Glass Cannon? The podcast, the actual play podcast. So there was one, they had one where they did something similar where they took over a thing, and the house that they took over was listed as A16 on the map of the town.
Yeah.
And so they made a whole thing about A16 Ocean View. They came up with a song, about it. And it was like to the tune of, it was they use that like late 80s sort of Melrose Place style of music. A16 Ocean View, that kind of thing. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
We're not
saying,
making a
anyway.
song. We're still calling dibs though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There'll be no music.
555 Harbor Way.
So we can go to the Lyceum and let the helpful mage know,
Okay.
That we've got a new house.
yeah, that this was the situation. This guy left in a controlled manner, which is suspicious.
So you guys, if you guys are going to keep this, you probably would seal up the shutters, sort of protect the windows in there,
Yeah.
because the it's getting to the point where it's hurricane force winds outside, and it's really difficult to travel. No one is on. The sun's up now, so there is some light you can see, but the wind and the rain is just brutal. You see a lot of instances of damage, trees uprooted, stuff blown around. All the ships, as far as you can tell, none of the ships have gone out into the river like they normally do to
One of them
the
did.
fish. Huh?
One of
Oh
them.
yeah, well that was last night. So we don't know what that was, but none of the normal fishing boats have. I mean, they're like, fuck this, we're not going out. It takes you a while to get from. You can see the blue circle is 555 Harbor Way, and then the big yellow circle is sort of across the harbor. That's the Lyceum. It takes you easily over an hour to get over there, which would be a brisk 20-minute walk on any other day. But you guys are stopped. But as soon as you reach there, you see that most of the guards are sort of like hunkered down. They're in their guard huts. They come out as soon as they get there, and they're like, "Come on, we've the headmaster is waiting for you. He's said that you're to be brought to him immediately. Come in. Let's get out of this terrible weather." And so they drag you into the tower, the primary tower that you've been in, and you go up to a place that you haven't been before, which you actually you have been there before, because Simeon brought you up to his office one time after the council meeting last time we talked, and he brought you up there. So you're immediately ushered back up there. There are several functionaries, Lyceum people, who bring you towels and fresh clothes and warm drinks and that kind of stuff. And you can tell that Simeon has been hard at work since he left you several hours ago, because he's still in the same clothes that he was wearing at the theater, and he's got books all over the place. place. And one of the things that you notice right away is that on a small table, which is obviously built specific for that purpose, is a large crystal ball, which is emitting sort of a purplish glow. So he's been scrying, you can tell. And when you guys come in, he's like, "Oh, good, thank God you're here." He goes, "I'm sorry to have to drag you around in this rain. You'll stay here today, and stay out of this weather until we can figure out what's going on. In the meantime, I've been trying to locate Lee, and I simply cannot find him. I've been using greater scrying spell, and I should be able to pinpoint him right away, but I can't find him anywhere. I have talked to my friends in other planes, and they have definitively informed me that the weather that we are encountering right now is magically generated. This is not a natural weather system. Someone has brought this to us for reasons unknown. They could not determine the reasons, but they did determine that the source of this magic is relatively close by. I've been trying to find information about Lee and find out where Lee is. Did you find him in his home? I see he's not with you.
Nobody gave us his house.
I don't understand what you mean.
Lee packed up and left
Indeed.
on purpose. The packing was complete and thorough. There was no suggestion of a rush or panic. His clothes were taken, his items were taken, his books were taken. At this point, we have to assume that he was somehow involved in all of this, whether directly or whether he just knew about it, and because it failed, feared that there would be repercussions on him. But he has quite efficiently abandoned the area. And I'm guessing he's actively stopping you from finding where he is.
This is so difficult to believe. Lee was my friend. He's been the harbor master here for well on nearly 10 years. He's worked at the Lyceum longer than that. I just don't understand how he could be part of such a horrifying plot.
The other option is he's dead and was made to look as if he left or was involved. I don't know. I just put arrows and stuff, dude. But he's either in on it or he was a victim of it. Either way, he was pretty well gone.
This is terrible, terrible news. And I hope, I hate to say it, but I almost hope that he has been killed as part of this, because to even conceive of the idea that he's part of this plot, it beggars the imagination. But it does give me some ideas. Hold on a second. He says, relax and take a. And you see him go back over to the crystal ball, and he sits down in front of it, and you see him begin to cast spells in it and that kind of stuff. And you can see sort of swirling inside and things like that. And he works on it for a couple of minutes. Then you see him go over to another table in his office where he has some magical paraphernalia. And Titus, you can see that he's probably, by using these things, he's using some very fairly common divining magic sort of thing. So you suspect that he at the very least has a couple of levels in cleric, because he's using, there's tuning forks and lenses that he looks through out the window and stuff like that, and he casts spells over some of that stuff. And he's like, at one point, he's back and forth from the crystal ball and that kind of stuff, and then finally he's like, aha, I think I might have something here. He says, come take a look. Especially you, Titus. This will interest you significantly. He shows you inside the crystal ball, and it looks like you could see that he's looking at a place, and it must be nearby because you can see wind and rain sort of lashing it. But it looks like sort of whatever it is. It's on the edge of the water. And it looks like there's some sort of like terrace or something like that sort of goes over the edge of this thing. He's like, I've narrowed down some of these things. I've tried more to determine. I did a couple more greater scryings and some tricks that I know to try and find Lee, and I haven't been able to think. So I focused on the source of the storm. Some of my friends in the plains have explained to me that the source is very close, so I focused on that. He's like, I've been able to determine. It still fights me, but I've been able to determine that the location is nearby. This is in the old quarter. This is a place that it used to be called. Well, it was an old abandoned prison by the people who used to by the peoples who used to live on this peninsula. I'm not sure what it's called, something like Stevens Prison or something like that. Anyway, it's over here. The place we're looking at right now, and Titus, you're peering into the crystal ball and you can see it. The place we're looking at is over here. And as soon as I can make a circle, I will show you over here what that means. And I'm going to make a green circle for you so that's easy to see. Over
Make a
here.
circle, I dare you. Not
You see
there.
that?
Oh,
Yep.
oh, there we go. Okay.
So this is where we're looking. This is the place we're looking at right now. You can see this hasn't obviously it's in the sunken quarter. Nobody goes there. There's nothing really to loot. Occasionally we'll see some of the buildings being torn away for being demolished a little bit for the stonework and things like that to do repairs and stuff like that. But just generally it's just in a bad part of the peninsula, and no one goes there. But there did used to be quite a bit of activity there in the people who lived here before those of us who live in Sequin now. Before we came here, that end of the peninsula was highly populated, and there's an old thing there. He goes, I remembered something, and he checked it out. He says, he points to a book. He says, I checked it out, and there was in this prison, there was a tomb associated with it, something called, and he looks over the book. He goes, it was the Pyromancer's tomb. That was a colloquial name. I don't know. There was no evidence of an actual Pyromancer there or anything like that. But they called it the Pyromancer's tomb. And the word was that it had protective wards around it that precluded somebody from doing divination magic. That was the legend. There are definitely divination wards in this place. And I'm getting a lot of indications that the source of the storm that is currently bedeviling this peninsula is also somewhere in this region. So he looks at you. He's like, would you be willing to go there and check it out?
Tell you what, we'll do that as long as you have the deed to that house signed over to us by the time we get back.
If Lee is, if it's as you say, and Lee has either escaped because he's part of this plot or he's killed, in any event, he's not going to be using that house ever again. I will do so. I will so deed it to you. I will see to it that it's done as a reward for not only for this mission, but for the saving the lives of many people on that boat last night. It will be this town's act of thanks towards you.
Man, he leans over to Wraith and says, man, that was pretty quick. I should have held out for more.
And take this bag of doubloons with you too, as well. No,
All right. So
yeah,
at this-
he's like, I'll make it happen.
so at this point, we probably need to rest, right?
Yeah, definitely. You guys have been up since
For how long? This has been.
yesterday. Yeah, you guys
So-
didn't get any sleep last night at all.
And it's 8 after 11. So we'll set up and rest at
it is.
the Lyceum.
Mhm,
And then
yeah,
plan
he
to-
insists. He's like, look, I don't want you going back across outside. This weather is terrible.
And then first thing in the morning, we'll go and investigate this prison and find out who's making this storm, and I'll put arrows in them.
Yes.
I'll work this. You guys get some rest. I'll work and get some spells, some protective spells. Hopefully that will keep you from having to experience the worst of the weather as you travel over there. In the meantime, he says, gentlemen, find these good people some rooms so that they can get some rest. See to their every need. See to that they're served breakfast and any and luncheon later on if they're awake. And then I will see you when you've rested.
Okay.
And that's where we'll stop for tonight.
And from my experience in Louisiana, when a hurricane's coming in, you just need alcohol.
There you go.
Vast quantities,
That can be provided.
vast quantities of alcohol.
Quantities of recuperative alcohol.
Exactly. We'll get a few hurricanes, the drink,
There you go.
and we'll be good to go. Some gator tail, we'll be good to go.
Excellent.
So,
All right. Well, he'll make sure that you get what you guys need.
okay. So Les, since we did B team this week, are we B team again next week too, or are we trying to switch?
I think we're gonna switch back to A team next week. because we missed it today because so many people were out. But I think we'll switch back. They'll all be back next Sunday. So I think we're back on a team next week. We'll just switch them B team and A team.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Sunday wait a minute, is this December? Yeah, so we have Sunday the 11th.
Mhm.
We have Sunday the 18th. Now,
Correct.
I know that you took roll call for this, and sadly, I don't think I emailed. Sorry about that. But so Christmas is the 25th. Are we playing on the 26th?
I don't know. Potentially.
That's the fourth Sunday, which is my campaign.
Hmm.
And it's also for you, Les, it'd be your traveler campaign.
Right.
Um,
Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on.
My group, I mean, we talked last time we played,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and yeah, I think we're gonna do the Monday.
we're gonna do Monday.
Yeah,
Okay, so then the other part of that is New Year's Day is a Sunday. So as we've talked about in the past, if it's a holiday and you have Monday off, we do Monday night instead, because that would be the night you're gonna have to be home to go to work anyway.
Right.
So are we doing Monday the 2nd? And that would be on you, Les.
Potentially, yes. I'm off that day. So yeah, but I don't go back to work till the 3rd. So yeah, maybe.
And I think most people will be off on Monday because the holiday's on Sunday.
Yeah.
right.
So again, it's one of those deals. You have the day off, but you're gonna have to be home in the
course.
evening because you have to work on Tuesday anyway.
Of course,
Right.
New Year's Day, that's
That's gonna be at Doug's.
probably.
Are you going to that?
I think so.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, so we won't have a game on New Year's Day. We might have one on New Year's Eve for people like me who are old and do not go out on New Year's Eve.
Well, yeah, the question would be for the normal Sunday rotation, are we gonna do a Monday evening game?
I think probably yes on the 2nd,
Okay,
which would be an A-team game.
yeah. And so the day after Christmas, the 26th would be a Monday. So we're doing D team that week, Mike?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
I think it'll be on the 26th.
Yeah, okay, just wanted to check. Thanks, guys.
Okay, cool. All right, gentlemen, have a great day. Have a great week, and we'll talk soon.
Not at all.
Bye,
All
guys.
right. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Take care.